Welcome to the film podcast that nobody listens to. I am Brodey.
And I am David.
And I am Lawrence.
And we
all right.
Oh, that's funny. And we have a special topic for today. We are going to talk about 3 romance films that we suggested for each other, and possibly other films too. But we picked 3 that we're going to discuss. And yeah, so do you guys want to talk about what we picked, and then we can jump right into the discussion?
We could probably just go one by one, starting with the first one, and then whoever picked it can talk about it a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
cool. We can start off with yours, Brodey.
Yes, I picked
Heck yeah.
a film from 1970 called Love Story, starring Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw. And the plot is very simple. Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw fall in love. We see their story. And in typical romance fashion, it ends tragically. What did you guys think?
Lawrence, go first.
Oh, I'll go first. Okay. All right, cool. Love Story. Brody's picking, obviously questionable taste right off the bat. And no, I'm just kidding. I usually like Brody's picks, and I really like this one. I was actually pretty surprised how much I liked it. Because as it kept going on, I think what I was worried about, it's a film from 1970, can it still hold up and be relatable in terms of the feeling of romance? And honestly, out of all the ones we picked, this is the one, in terms of pure love and romance, it's the most authentic that we've picked.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed, and I think the story is pretty simple, but it's these 2 actors, Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw, right? That's the names?
Yes.
Yeah, they were perfect. I loved them both so much, and it's crazy that these people were nominated for Oscars and shit. I'm so happy because that great picks. I just really enjoyed it, and yeah, the ending's kind of a downer, but I think it's a great movie.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it. David, what did you think?
Awesome.
I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as Lawrence, but it didn't really have anything to do with the plot or anything like that. I think it was well written and whatnot. I didn't think Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw had a lot of chemistry. That was my
Really?
Yeah. Now I'll say this. I think it's more about Ryan O'Neal. I loved Ally McGraw in this.
Oh, she's perfect.
Yeah.
She's perfect. She's charming as fuck in this movie. I think it was more Ryan O'Neal that kind of bugged me, and I don't think he was bad. I just think, I don't know. I just think somebody else could have fit the part better. Now, I still like the movie. I just didn't love it because of that reason.
Okay.
Well, you're wrong, but no, I kind of get it, because at first I was like, I don't know. I think it's just with most movies that are just older. I just have this I kind of go in prepared to be it's an old movie, but right off the bat, I think what kind of struck me as different is how they meet. It's right away.
Yes.
They meet right away, and it's so they kind of are talking shit to each other. She's she's like, oh, I'm smart and poor. It's no, I'm smart and poor. It's how are you smart? And it's I would never go get coffee with you. and she's like, well, how does that make me? How am I dumb? And it's because you wouldn't go get coffee with me.
She calls him
yeah, preppy.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
preppy.
that's probably the most modern part about it that to me struck me is that a lot. I mean, I don't know about you guys now. I guess it's a little different for Brodey because he's engaged. But whenever I interact with a girl I'm trying to get at, there is a little bit of roasting going on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. It's playful
banter. Yeah.
Yeah, playful banter. Exactly. You just want to just kind of, you're kind of comfortable with someone like that, especially someone you're talking to. So you just kind of start talking shit to each other, and then it turns into something romantic. And yeah, it doesn't stop too, which is fun. She continuously calls him preppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, that there's a good banter, there's a good back and forth, and I mean, I can't think of a movie pre-1970, which is when this came out, where there's banter like that between a couple, because it's usually pretty romantic almost immediately, you know.
Yeah.
you can tell when somebody's gonna get into a relationship in a movie. But I thought it was pretty cool how they were interacting in the beginning.
Like in
And
other
obviously,
movies. Oh, sorry. Go on.
no. I was just gonna say that, like, obviously, I guess I'm just not used to it because of when it came out. I mean, we're talking 53 years ago now, right?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. I think that was when David was born.
You shut your
No,
mouth.
no, I'm just kidding. But I think you're right. I think because in other romance movies, especially from this time, they meet like randomly, like, and I mean, like, they bump into each other and they start into each other's eyes and all that kind of stuff. But this happens just normally and genuinely. Like, they just run into each other, have a conversation. He's kind of pissed off, like, I just need to use the goddamn book, and and then she's just kind of talking shit to him, and then they just go get coffee, like just a normal encounter that turns into something
I
much
do love that
more
they
real.
go right into it, though.
Yeah,
They don't. It doesn't
They don't
fuck around.
It's like the first 60 seconds you're introduced to both of them. You don't even see them walk into the room with each other. They're just in front of
exactly.
I dug that too.
Yeah, they really just it literally starts with them because the story is about them. Like, you don't need to meet them one on one, like some type of like La La Land shit. Like, you just need to meet the people that are going to be a part of this love story.
Real quick before we continue, I want to give my thoughts. And I want to give a little backstory of how.
Oh, sorry, Brody.
No. You're fine. You're fine. Well, first I was at my in-laws' house with my in-laws, and I call them my in-laws. I know we're not married yet, but it's just easier that way.
Hey, it's all good.
And Emily and I were there, and my father-in-law likes to scroll through his list of movies that he has on his TV, and he passed Love Story. He's like, "Have you seen this before?" I said, "No." He's like, "You haven't seen this before?" Like, I said, "No." So they instantly put it on, and the four of us watched it. And like you said, at the beginning, she's roasting him. We see their story just kind of quickly come together. I'm like, oh, this is going to be an all-timer. As it goes on with the excellent dialogue, the perfect performances, and David, I'm gonna disagree with you. I think their chemistry is perfect. I
also
really
agree with
sells it
that.
for me. And as it went on in the ending, I was bawling my eyes out in front of my in-laws, and I didn't care because it was just such a perfect, beautiful little movie. And I've watched it, I think, 3 or 4 times now, and every time I cry my eyes out. I just watched it before this recording, and I sound like I just cried probably, but no, I think the dialogue is really well written. I think Ally McGraw is the MVP. She is not only is she very attractive, but she's just like, her banter and her roasts are just awesome. She's so funny. Like, this movie is very funny while also being very sad. So I would count this as a rom-com too. And of course the score. Can't forget that score is just beautiful.
That's my favorite thing in the movie, honestly. Outside of Ally McGraw's, the score, it's fucking perfect.
That scene,
the score's great.
That scene where they're in the snow, it's called Snow Frolic, and the music's like, it's like a guitar and some woman singing, and they're playing around with the football, and it's like that perfect moment that you have in your relationship. It just captured that perfectly. Like, this movie captures what it means to fall in love and to go through the trial and tribulations, like when they fight. And I love the famous quote is, "Love means never having to say you're sorry." It's just a perfect quote, and I just love it. I think it's a perfect film, especially for 1970.
Absolutely, I agree with that. 1970. 53 years is crazy, but that scene you brought up with the snow. What I like about that is it's right after, I believe, the first time they say "I love you." I'm pretty sure that's when but like, it's like, "I love you," and then it like hard cut to him, like his eyes cross and he falls into the snow. At first, I thought it was going into like his feelings and shit. I didn't, but it was like, that's what I like. It transitions into like that next scene so perfectly that I was like, what's going on? I was like, oh, they're just having a regular day in the snow.
Yeah.
Like with the beautiful, like the song is so nice. The ooh, like the fucking, like the girl. I loved that. I loved it so much. And just, I feel like what they did was they took a camera out. They brought these two out, and they were like, just fucking play around. Like, play around like you feel like as if these two would just be hanging out, having a good time. And I feel like they captured that so well. And
Yes.
I also agree with you, Brody. I think the chemistry, while a little different, is definitely like it works so well. And I think what I love about it is there's not a lot in this movie where like they're mean to each other or like there's a lot of problems. The only time it ever occurs is when it's really about him and his relationship with his father.
Yes.
And like that's the only time where they have like a real problem. But again, that's where you get the famous quote, like love means never having to say you're sorry, and just that performance, both of their performances honestly, where she's crying and he's just so upset cuz he felt like oh, where did she go, and he's looking everywhere for her. And
Yep.
he's just like, and he just feels terrible. Like, I feel like that's what I like about this movie too, is there's not a lot of like arguing. It's just a genuine love story of two people that just are perfect for each other.
Yeah. And just Ally McGraw, I love, like in the beginning where he was like, then why are you interested? And she's like, I like your body. She's
No,
so
yeah.
non-traditional. And
Yeah, exactly.
like I was reading the trivia, and John Wayne, of course, John Wayne has to be that guy. He was like, Ellie McGraw is her performance is just not right because she says goddamn and shit. It's like, shut up, dude. Like
Oh
she
God.
feels like an actual person. She doesn't feel like just another woman in another rom-com. She feels so real. And by the way, the score won it won the Oscar, which is super cool.
Oh, it deserved it.
Oh, they got something right for once. What a fucking miracle.
But you know what's I noticed thing about the score. When I was listening to it, I was like, I've heard this before, and I kept on like re-listening to the one. It's a piano, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's like na 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 na
Yeah.
na na na, and I was like, what is that? And I realized I was just like sitting down, and I was replaying that in my head, and it was used as a sample in a rap song by Immortal Technique called "Dance with the Devil." And
Oh my
I don't know if you
gosh.
guys have
Is that
have you guys
is
heard
that
that
the
song?
fucked up song where it's like,
Yes,
okay, I know
yes,
exactly what you're talking about.
the one with the mom.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, that's a
That's
fucked
that's
up
a
song.
sad fucking song. Yeah, and like I was thinking, I was like, this sick bastard used this beautiful love story and used it for his awful fucking. It's a good song because the story is insane, but I'm just saying like the what is it, like the context of what the song is about is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I just realized, I was like, oh, they sampled this. That's why. Like, it's crazy how like rappers sample like the most like obscure things. Like they probably just watching a movie and like, I could use that.
Most random shit.
Most random shit.
What did you guys
Dude,
think?
I've heard samples from fucking rappers from like movies from the 50s, and I'm just like, what? How the fuck did you think to take this and put this in your song? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I do like that the actual song in the context of the movie is really good, and yeah,
Oh,
the
it's
score
great, yeah.
deserved it. And there's also one scene I really love, and again, I feel like it goes with that authentic side of this movie because there's I can't think of a scene where it's like this feels like the movie's version of what love is, and like the whole thing is pretty authentic, and it's this scene where I forget the context of what they're talking about. I think she's talking about like, oh, I remember. She's talking about breaking up because at some point they're gonna be leaving each other
Yeah.
anyways, and
Yeah.
he's like, no, like, what are you talking about? And she's like, why do you like me? Why do you like me? And it sounds like a setup for like a really like monologue-ish type of bullshit, but he just goes because. Like that's it.
Yeah.
He can't explain it. That's it. And I feel like that's the perfect answer because if he just started listing things, that'd be bullshit. But she was just like, okay, yeah, because she just accepted like his feelings for me are real, and there's no point in actually worrying about it.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good
I love
point.
that scene.
That's a great scene. What
Oh, I love it.
did you guys think of the father relationship, like kind of subplot where Barrett and his father and how they have like that, problems with each other?
I think it could have been very cliche, and in some ways, like there are moments that are kind of cliche. But what I think what sells it is Ryan O'Neal,
Mm-hmm.
like just his feeling, like the scene when the dad calls and Allie really not Allie. What's her name in the movie? I'm sorry. Jenny, Jenny, and his name's Oliver, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when Jenny is talking to the dad, and she wants Oliver to talk to the dad, he just looks so like broken up by his dad, like in just the relationship he has with it, and I feel like that sells it. Like how people say like, this movie's not original, and I think like most movies aren't original, but how you go about it is what's best about it, and I think the execution of how Ryan O'Neal feels towards his dad as the actor, I think he sells it the most, more than the story does. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that whole relationship.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because even though I didn't love Ryan O'Neal overall in the movie, I think the dynamic between him and his dad is probably the thing I dug the most about his performance, at least.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I thought it was I that's when I thought he was actually really fucking good. And yeah, like the phone call scene where he blows up on Jenny is I think that's his best scene. That's his best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I dug it. I don't relate as someone who didn't grow up with a father, so I can't be like, damn, this is realistic.
Sorry for laughing.
No, it's true though. That's why I'm like, can't relate to this.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, you grew up without a dad. I grew up with a dad who's a piece of shit. So, hey, we win.
What I love about that scene. What I love about that scene is the dad could have easily been that cliched asshole rich dad who just doesn't care, but he really does care. And the scene where they take Jenny over to dinner and they're not really impressed with her, like, I understand they live in a different world than we do. They don't understand that like he can fall in love with the poor girl instead of like some rich, preppy girl. And I understand where his parents are coming from. I understand where the dad's coming from. But I truly believe the dad does care. Like, he comes to his hockey game in Canada, then he goes to the hospital at the end. His dad does care. He's just in a different world than...
He has a higher standard for things.
Yes. But in the end, he truly does care. And I really liked how Jenny, even though what happened to her at the end is tragic, she fixed their relationship.
Like, and I think a cliche movie would have been like, the dad never learns. He never accepts, the like to forgive his dad. But I like that the dad wants to say he's sorry, and he reuses the line like love means never having to say you're sorry. Like that's a great way to end it. Like it's a more mature movie than most would have taken it. Most would have taken it like, fuck the dad, the dad's evil, but he's not. Like it's just complicated. And I like the scene when they first meet, how that's cut up, because they immediately get there and he's like, we have to go in a little bit.
And it cuts them driving away.
Yeah, and I like that because you think like, oh, you're just never going to see it, but like they start talking about the evening they had and it cuts to back to what they're talking to. I like how that scene's cut up.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say I love the way they directed that scene. That it's a really interesting choice to do that.
Instead of showing it right away, like the whole thing as it happened.
Right away and exactly what happens. It's a really interesting choice, but I really dig that too.
I think they did that to make it like, and because I feel like when movies do that, and I think they did it in About Time with Meeting the Parents, where it's like they try to make it awkward, and I feel like that's what those scenes do. Like it's awkward, like because obviously one side doesn't like the other side, and instead they kind of just talk about the important stuff, and they kind of leave out that feeling of awkwardness of sitting through the whole thing in one go. And they just kind of get to talk about the evening they had instead of us experiencing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why they did that. But I don't know. I'm surprised how much I love this movie, because I think the more I think about it and the more I talk about it. I know I like a movie a lot when I'm like when I start looking for a Blu-ray for the movie.
Yes, I have the Blu-ray. I just watched it on it.
Oh, so it is available on Blu-ray?
Yes, it is.
It's like $20, and
it's worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna wait a little bit to see like if it goes down, but if not, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just get it because it's a good movie.
Buy it, cheap ass. What's wrong with you?
Hey, man, I like to save a couple bucks. What are you talking about?
Dude, I spent $18 on a movie directed by James Whale in 1934 with Colin Clive, and it was boring as shit. So you gotta take risks sometimes.
I was gonna say, I don't know about you guys. I have probably like 900-ish movies by now.
Nice.
And I would say
collection?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You gotta get a bookshelf for that, man.
I
Yeah.
have 2 bookshelves, and they're both like overflowing, so I need a third one.
Nice.
But
Nice.
I was gonna say, I think there's probably like 70 to 80 of them that I actually haven't seen.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
they're
that's what
they're
happens
just
when you start
blind
buying a
buys,
bunch.
you know? Yeah.
That's the fun of it, though.
Yeah, totally. Because you're like, all right, whether this sucks or not, at least I'll always have this here if I ever want to watch it. And I know this really obscure fucking Grindhouse movie I have from 1974 is not going to be streaming on HBO Max.
Yeah, there's some movies that just are never like for some reason like Old Boy doesn't stream on a lot of platforms for some reason. So like and then like it was hard to find the Blu-ray for that one, but I finally did.
Did you
And
find a
that
Blu-ray that works?
yeah, no, mine works perfectly.
So I bought a Blu-ray for it, and it's a Criterion for it. But I don't know if it's like one of those region ones where it
It's a
doesn't play on
region one.
Oh, so
Yeah,
stupid. So
It's
I know what
so
you're talking
fucking dumb, dude. I paid $40 for that shit, and it doesn't work on my Blu-ray.
I know what you're talking about too.
Player. That's the thing, and that's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because that's usually a problem for Old Boy because like I think what I heard is like they ran out of like print for it or something like that, and the only places you can get it are in like other countries. Mine's a region Blu-ray too, but I played it on like my PS4. I think my brother's PS4, and it worked perfectly. We watched the whole movie. So,
I guess it just pisses me off because there's a difference between some obscure fucking movie and like maybe the greatest movie of the past 20 years.
yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, it's loved by many, but for some reason, just hard to find. It's so annoying. But 900, holy shit! I thought I had a lot. I have like almost 200 Blu-rays. And I had to get a new shelf too, and it's so empty, which I love because I'm just like now I can buy more. And I fucking got this is why like I like to wait till movies go down a little bit because like I bought Midsummer for like $4 and I was like holy shit, like that's cool.
Oh dude, those deals are always the best when you find some random really good movie in like the bottom of a bin somewhere. You're like fuck, it's $3 for.
But I bought this off Amazon, which is crazy. I got it off Amazon.
Wow, that is wild.
And the cheapest one I've ever bought was surprisingly my favorite movie, and it's Moonlight. Moonlight I bought for $3 on Amazon.
You think it got that low
crazy.
because of the shitty quality of the movie?
Oh, very very funny. Oh yeah, whatever. But back to Love Story.
Do you guys want to talk about the ending? Because I think it's a topic of its own. Which, real quick,
it hurts.
I love the contrast where he's playing racquetball, I think it's called, with his one friend, and his friend's like, "Dude, you got it made. You got a wife. You got a good job. It's good money. Your life is perfect." And the very next scene, he goes to the doctor. The doctor said she's dying instantly. Like, the contrast between that, it's just like, dude, when he hears the news, and Ryan O'Neal, I think the best scene for his performance is when he's told that because his face just sells it, and he's like, dying? Like, what do you mean? Like, he's just in complete denial, and he has to act normal, and how he's just like, you could just see the pain in his face when he hugs her, and he's like, just wants to spend as much time with her. It's just, god damn, that ending just always, it gets to me.
Yeah, I like the that he's like, what do I do? Like, because he doesn't. I mean, how what do you do? You don't know what to do. Like, how do you go on knowing that information? He's like, just act, as if you don't know a damn thing and enjoy what you have right now. And then it's great that they didn't go down like a path where it's like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I feel like that would ruin it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that relationships should be perfect and like relationships and movies should be perfect. But I think what this story is calling for is just, I like that there wasn't too much conflict between them. It was just them experiencing life together. Yeah. And when she finds out, like, she's like, no, I don't want to go to Paris. I want to be here and I want to be with you, and that's it. And like that's all I need. And yeah, like his face really does sell it. I feel like he's a lot better than like we've given credit to. I don't think there's like a scene where he's like not good.
She keeps No, David, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like when I said earlier, I don't think they have the best chemistry. I don't think they're like bad together on screen either. I don't know.
You didn't gel with it.
Yeah. I just didn't.
That's
I just
okay.
didn't gel with it. But again, it's not like I think he's bad in any sort of way. Like I said, I think where he specifically stands out is when he's getting upset with his dad. But that scene, the ending scene between them, really sells it. I think that's
so rough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's a tough scene.
Yeah.
I love how she keeps her like banter attitude even when she finds out. She's like, the doctor, he's nice. He's from Yale. Is that okay with you that he's from Yale? Like, she's still like cracking jokes despite finding out that she's dying. I really like that her character stays consistent.
She has a crazy line in the movie that I heard when once something was said, I was like, I think they're gonna make a joke about it. It's when they go to meet the parents and they're like, "Oh, come this way, master," and she's like, "Master, I always knew you had slaves," and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Hey." I was all right.
1970s, man.
1970. All right,
Good
we've come a
times
long
back
way.
then too, man. Good time.
You're so annoying. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Especially in their last scene when she's like, "Hold me," and she's like, "No, no, no, get into bed." Like,
Yeah.
oh man, like that's
So rough.
like there's no other way to do it. Especially when you've made a movie that's like this, I guess serious on making it feel, I guess, relatable. Like honestly, out of all of these movies, I feel like this one, in terms of just pure romance and like those feelings of romance, is the most relatable.
Yeah.
I think maybe because it's the one where it's just a normal story, but I just like it. It's perfect. Did you know there's a sequel?
What?
Yeah.
There's a sequel called Oliver's Story.
Yep. Did you know that, Brodey?
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, I was looking it up because after I watch a movie, especially if I'm doing a podcast on it, what I like to do is I go on I search up like how did it do, was it nominated for anything. I like to go and look up certain scenes on YouTube and see what other people thought. You know what? Some people had a problem with the line love means not having to say you're sorry, and it just completely misses the point of the movie. People are like, no, love means having to say you're sorry because it's respecting your partner, and it's like, that's not what they're fucking saying, you idiot. Like, what are you talking about?
A lot of reviews on Letterboxd are just so tedious for me.
Yeah, people are bitches about this movie. I'm sorry, like, people are fucking assholes.
Which I respect their opinions, of course, but
I don't. I'll be the one to say it. No, no, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like people, I don't know. I think people are a little too hard on this one. Like, I saw all the ratings of people I follow, and they were like 3 stars, 2.5, and I'm like, I'm not gonna like this one. And I was like, I like this way more than all these people. Like, it was good. It's good when that happens, when you see all these like negative reviews or like mid reviews, and you just feel more positive towards it. I love when that happens. But yeah, there is a sequel called Oliver's Story, and I don't know what it's about exactly, but I'm guessing, and the poster's with him and another woman, which I don't really like that idea. I'm not excited to watch that.
It does not need a sequel.
I think it's just a continuation more than like a sequel. I mean, obviously is what a sequel is, but like I feel like
it's just... Did you look up how much money it made?
This movie made over $100 million, guys.
It's a $2 million budget, and it made $173 million.
My dad said it was huge back then.
70 money. That's the thing. It was huge. Like, I didn't know that because this is a movie that not a lot of people talk about now, but like I thought this was just like some obscure movie that like Brodey just happened to just catch on randomly. I never heard of it, and then like I'm looking it up, and it's like Best Picture. Yeah, no, I never heard of it, and it was like Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actor. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. And have you guys seen Patton? Because that's what won.
I have. Is it good? It's very okay. I mean, George C. Scott is excellent as always. He's great in everything, but it's just a war movie, and the Academy loves those war movies.
I feel like
Brodey said it best. It's all performance for that one.
Well, that first scene is impressive though, David, where he gives that he did that in one take, one time.
The speech, that classic speech.
And I was gonna say, it's so random. I have memories of being in 8th grade. I was in a theater class in 8th grade, and this kid told me, a friend of mine back then told me, He's like, I'm gonna do a scene from Patton. I'm gonna do the opening scene from Patton.
That's
Now,
crazy.
It's very
and
random.
the thing is I had already seen the movie. I had seen the movie a few years before that, and I was like, do you know how terrible of an idea that is? I'm like, you can't pull that off, bro. You're 13 or whatever the fuck you are.
And
Like,
I
you
bet
can't
he
pull that off.
sucked.
And he was fucking terrible.
Oh,
I remember that. I remember that to this day because I was like, dude, you. And he came off screen. He's like, how did I do? I'm like, you were fucking awful.
I love your honesty, David. That's awesome.
You're fucking awful.
That's awesome.
You're so mean.
I mean, and again, it's not. He picked an amazing fucking thing, but it's like you're gonna try to deliver that speech as a 13-year-old. Like, what are you doing?
In
Get out of
school?
here.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
That's-
fucking senior class. It was 8th grade. Yeah, we're like 13, 14 at the time.
I think the movies we watched proved one thing to me, and it's that I'm a fucking simp because I would fall for all of these girls. I'd fall
Oh,
for
dude.
all of them.
Every leading girl we watched just
Was-
like yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They're great. And I think, honestly, I feel like it's not just these movies. I feel like a lot of these movies, if you're not falling for at least the couple, you're doing something kind of wrong. Like if you're not falling for these people,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point, is to kind of just fall into.
Well,
and I do that with Love Story a lot.
With
Well, they
Also-
set unrealistic expectations almost because I agree with about all three of the women in the 3 movies that we picked. They all seem fucking incredible in their own ways.
Exactly.
But we know that we're only seeing the good parts for the most
Yeah.
part. I guess the exception is gonna be Kate Winslet. You actually do see her bad sides or whatever in
Yeah, the
in
faults.
Eternal Sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah.
the fault.
But that's the point of like that one.
That's
though.
the point of Eternal Sunshine, though.
Yeah, exactly.
In most other rom-coms, you never see the bad side of the woman. It's always just the good shit, and that's what makes it almost unrealistic. You know.
Mm. All right, let's stop him before he goes a little too far.
Did you guys notice, and this blows my mind that they even did this, how in Love Story, the movie starts and then it ends, it kind of goes full circle. In the
love that.
beginning, he says, blah, 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 she was only 25 years old. He spoils the ending. And
Yeah, I
it went
noticed
right over
that.
my head in the beginning. It blew completely
Oh,
over my head.
you never realized it the first time you watched it?
First time I watched it, I guess I didn't catch it because after it happened, I watched it again. Like, he fucking spoils it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think he
It's
literally
the
says
opening
she
line,
dies.
essentially.
I know.
Yeah,
I just didn't
I think
catch
he
on to
literally
it.
says she dies. I caught that, and what's great about, I think that's what makes it a good movie, because I knew it was coming, but the whole time I forgot about it. Forgot he even said
I
it.
was going to ask how
'Cause
that
I was
was
just-
viewing.
It
Got
didn't.
If you guys have seen Pan's Labyrinth, they do the same thing in Pan's Labyrinth where you see the little girl dying in the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you almost forget about it.
It takes some
I think
balls to do
some-
that. It takes a lot of balls to just do that.
It does. You have to
I
be a
think
really
that's-
good storyteller to do that and still pull off the movie.
Exactly. I feel like that's the writer kind of flexing, because he's like, this story is so good, we're gonna fucking spoil it.
Yeah,
Like, you-
no,
you- that's-
literally,
I think
yeah,
that's
he's
kind of
flexing his
flexing.
muscles.
Yeah, it's like, look at that. You guys
Well-
still fucking liked it. I told you it was gonna happen.
It's a flex to. I love the beginning where it zooms in on him sitting there on the bench with a beautiful score playing, and the ending it zooms out to the first shot. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that
So
it
cool.
kept on that one shot. I wish it would have actually been the one shot. I think it's just like a freeze frame of it. So I don't think he's moving once the credits start rolling. Kind of like a Call Me By Your Name kind of thing, where it's just like the credits playing over the scene,
You're a pro.
which I
I
like.
like a good version of that. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, no, I think the movie works really well, and honestly, I would 100% go back to this movie. I think there is a comfort to it. Just like watching these two people, like, and we didn't mention their wedding. What I love about it is again, they could have gone down this road, because obviously with Oliver, his dad, and his relationship's awful, and with Jenny, she has a pretty decent relationship with her dad. Like she calls him Phil, and he wants her to call him Phil. And I like the moment, it could have gone really bad when they say that they're not getting married in a church, but he kind of just accepts it. Like, he doesn't love it, but he accepts it for them. And I like when they get married, they're like, "Oh, let's joy in this sacred evening," and he's like, "Amen," and he's like, "No, he's a priest. I'm gonna think of him as a priest."
He's a good dad.
Yeah.
Which, by the
Yeah,
I
way,
like him. By the way, what?
did you know the guy who plays Phil? I forgot. I think it's John something. I forgot his name. He plays the guy in The Godfather who wakes up
Yeah,
to the
the
horse,
horse.
in his bed.
you stole that from. I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I ain't no band leader. I ain't no band leader.
You know what? I recognized his voice as soon as he came on screen.
Good actor.
I recognize his
Yeah,
face.
His scream is so iconic in that scene in the first Godfather.
Yeah.
His voice stood out right away when he came on screen in Love Story. Yeah.
I was also gonna bring that up too. I was like, God damn it!
I love that scene though. He's just like, I ain't no band leader. Then they put a horse head in his bed without him knowing. That's just like the perfect.
That's wild.
Perfect. I'm gonna get you if you don't do what we say. That's Godfather's crazy.
Oh,
by the way,
yeah.
Insane.
Put a point on how old this movie is. It's actually older than The Godfather.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
it's 2 years before it. Damn,
Yeah,
that's
2 years
crazy.
before The Godfather, yeah, which is
Yeah.
insane.
That's fucking wild. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the '70s movies that I watched so far, like they never really stick with me as much. Like I know you guys talk about the '70s a lot, and I really want to watch more from that decade because I know it's a great one for film. And obviously, I love some from the '70s. Obviously, like Godfather, Godfather Part 2, and Jaws.
Mhm.
This is one of them. This is going in that list of like movies from the '70s that honestly, like I feel like you can't have some of the movies that we have if there wasn't a love story.
I'm glad you dug
Do you have you seen The Sting?
No, I really want to.
That's one of the best films ever made.
Didn't that win Best Picture?
It did in 1973.
Yeah, I feel like I would enjoy that one. I just like the title of that. I showed my sister-in-law No Country for Old Men yesterday, and I know it's not the '70s, but I was just I was thinking about it, and yeah, she really liked it, and that movie is funny because when I'm watching it, it's like kind of slow, but once it's over, I just keep on thinking about it. I really like that movie. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's a great movie.
What
Yeah, no.
would you guys rate Love Story?
You want to go first, Brodey?
Well, as you can imagine, I'm going to give this an easy 10 out of 10. I mean, it's just perfect from start to finish. There's not a bad scene. The acting's great. Ali McGraw, MVP, Ryan O'Neal, which, by the way, he won the role in Barry Lyndon because of this movie.
Oh yeah, he is in Barry Lyndon. I read that. I haven't seen that yet though.
The best Kubrick film, at least my favorite Kubrick film. Super, super great.
Yeah, I'll check it out one day.
Music is perfect. The ending is absolutely heartbreaking, tragic. It makes me cry. And I don't cry. I'm not trying to sound like a hard ass, but it takes a lot for a movie to make me cry. And this one, as soon as he finds out, I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm bawling my eyes out the whole third act. Perfect film. 10 out of 10, easily.
Nice. I would say this movie is really great. And I love the performances. I love the story. I think the simplistic story comes off more authentic than most movies would ever do, and I really enjoy it. Easy 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. I would definitely come back to
Nice.
it. And yeah, I love it a lot.
Nice.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. I really dug it. Again, I think for me it came down more to Ryan O'Neal, and it's not I don't think he's bad. I just didn't love the chemistry between him and Ali McGraw. I think Ali McGraw and the score were to me the MVPs of this movie, like by far.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean I really dug it, and I'll say this, even though I didn't love Ryan O'Neal this time around, I do want to rewatch it. Knowing
Nice.
full well the direction of the movie. That's one thing that's really good about not only romance movies but rom-coms is that they're usually pretty rewatchable. So I will
Absolutely.
rewatch this at some point, and I don't know, maybe I'll dig it more the second time around.
No, it's a good
I love
rewatch
it.
too. It really just flies by. It's only like 90 minutes long. It just flies by.
Yeah, it's a good runtime.
Easy watch.
Definitely well paced for sure. Yeah.
And she's hot. I like how she's not like a model, like in modern movies, like everyone's just like a Calvin Klein model, but like she's just like, I don't know. She even has like kind of a messed up tooth, but it didn't bother me at all.
Oh, I love that. I think that gives her character. She's again like she's not perfect, like you said, like she's not like
Yeah.
walking on the catwalk model, but I think just her personality really shows in the character, and she just gives that character life. Like I love the one quick scene I forgot is there's a lot of scenes where he calls her a bitch,
Yeah.
and I feel like that really shows like just their relationship, like not even words like that could fucking hurt them, like because they know they're not that serious.
You're
And I
just being
feel
such
like
a bitch right now.
yeah, and she starts laughing.
Yeah. No, she's great. She should have won.
I don't know
Did
who
win?
do you know
Do
who
we
did
know who
win?
won
Yeah,
Best Actress
I don't
that
know.
year?
Let me look it up.
yeah, I don't really remember that one.
Yeah, Coppola won writing that year for Patton, which, whatever. Should have been this guy, whatever his name is. Let's see.
He did
1970.
that?
Yeah, he wrote Patton. Coppola did.
Yeah.
Oscars.
I did not know that.
Oscars.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't really remember.
Best. Let's see.
Best
Actress. Woman in Love. Glenda Jackson. I've never heard of that.
No idea what that. Honestly, you know what I realized? Even now, a lot of the actor and actress wins are from movies that not a lot of people talk about now.
How ironic.
Like, yeah, it's funny because you know, Rami Malek won for like Bohemian Rhapsody, and
Ugh.
like what's her name?
Legit, I remember.
Renee Zellweger won for Judy. Like these are just like performances from movies that nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's the ones that win.
That's the Oscars for you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, if the Oscars follow that trend, then that means that what's his face is going to win for Elvis this year.
Probably. It depends. I feel like
Should be.
I'll know
Colin Farrell.
more. I'd be okay with that. I like Colin Farrell and Banshees.
Banshees is a great movie. That should win Best Picture in my opinion. I think it's great.
I think we should talk about the Oscars when they happen.
Yeah,
That'd be fun. Probably get Maria and Bryce on here.
that'd be cool.
That'd be really fun.
Should
Yeah,
we
shit
have
show.
Maria on here though. I don't know about Maria.
Well, the one time we did all of us, it actually went really well. It was
I
not
loved it. It was
bad.
fun. I had so much fun doing that.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Should we go on to Eternal Sunshine?
Yes.
Cool. Unless you have anything else you want to add, some knowledge or anything.
Just that it blows.
I have nothing else, so I'm good.
Cool. All right. I guess I'll say what Eternal Sunshine's about because that is my pick for these romance movies, and I think it's a great pick for what we have in terms of all of our picks together because this one, it's not so much a downer. It's just because I would call this a romance movie, but it's about like what you want to keep in terms of memory of a romance. Like, do you want to lose that pain, or do you want to lose it? Oh, lose all the memories and lose all the good stuff. Because this movie, basically, what it's about, it stars Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, a banger cast by the way.
Yes.
Fucking Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, just all these great actors, and they all do so well. And it's basically about Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey. They had a relationship, and they break up. And Kate Winslet's character Clementine, she gets a procedure to where she forgets who Joel is and all the memories they had. And when Joel finds out, he's obviously very upset and impulsive. So he also gets the procedure, and we watched the procedure through his perspective in this very dreamlike, nightmarish sequence of events, and we get to see what I love is you get to see all the bad stuff first because that's what the most recent memories is, all the shit that led to them breaking up, and then you get to see those moments that he wished he could keep, and he's starting to regret the procedure. And I love this movie. I'm a big Charlie Kaufman fan. I love all of his movies that I've seen basically. And this is up there. I think this is probably his most accessible movie. Like, if you don't like Charlie Kaufman's other movies, there's a high chance you'll love this one. And yeah, I really loved it, and I would love to know what you guys think.
You go first.
Yeah. David?
Oh. Sorry, I asked Brody.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say my name.
No.
I was like, oh god, we lost him.
I can go first. I'll say this. This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Awesome.
Jim Carrey in this movie. I think this was the first time I had ever seen Jim Carrey in anything not comedic. I know that The Truman Show, preceded this, but I had not seen The Truman Show before this movie.
Great film, by the way.
And even in The Truman Show, he's still kind of hamming it up,
Yeah, he's still playing the Jim Carrey isms.
Yeah. In this, he just seems like another guy.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
Sad boy.
His performance hits, dude. And I mean, Kate Winslet won I think she won the Oscar for this, right?
No, she was just nominated.
She was just nominated. Okay.
I think what's her name?
She should have.
I think I also agree with that, but I also think Jim Carrey should have been fucking nominated. I'm upset he wasn't.
Yes, he should have.
Yeah, that's upsetting. But I think who won that year? I think for actress, I think this was the year $1 Million Baby won everything.
Oh,
so what's her name won?
That movie does not hold up.
Hilary Swank.
That's a different discussion.
Hilary Swank. She's good in that movie though, but I feel like I love Kate Winslet way more. And Jim Carrey definitely should have been in the run for Best Actor.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's just something about. I love not only rom-coms but just romance movies where they show you the realest shit about an actual relationship. So
yeah,
this one. Marriage Story, Blue Valentine, all those movies hit extra hard just because, at least for me, just because I'm like, well, this is the real shit that, these movies don't usually show, but they show in these specific ones. And I think, I don't know, this one, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just the writing by Charlie Kaufman in this one that makes this one stand out above the others, though, for me.
He seems to understand people in his movies, like the people's feelings and what they're going through in that moment. I feel like that's what I love most about this movie, because again, like you get to see so much of just Joel's, not just his memories, but just also how he feels about Clementine. Because there's a portion of the movie where he's trying to save the memory of her, and it's just what he thinks of her. Like the thing he's saving it, like when she has her red hair, that's not like a memory. That's just the ideal of her, and he wants to save that somewhere. And I feel like I like the way that they go about that, because I mean, yeah, like you have a certain idea of what your partner's like, and you have like this up in your mind, you kind of know what they're like, and you give them your own little, like I guess basically just remember them a certain way. And yeah, I like the way they do that.
Yeah, and I always forget his name, but the doctor, what is his name? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who the actor is.
He's in Batman
I always
Begins.
remember him from The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
I've never seen that.
He's also Falcone in
Tom Wilkinson.
in Batman
Yeah,
Begins.
Tom Wilkinson. Thank you. Tom Wilkinson is so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so good in this movie because he's so reserved. I don't know. I really dig the sci-fi aspect of this. I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't even think of it as I just thought of it as like a rom-com, and then it like hit me when I saw it on a best of list for the greatest sci-fi movies ever. I was like, well, shit, you're right. Like, because all this shit is really unrealistic, obviously, but I'm like, damn it.
But yeah, I think before I was gonna get into something else, but I really want to know what Brodey thinks, because this is the first time he's ever seen it. I hope if he doesn't like it, I'm gonna fucking sign off right now. I swear to God.
Brodey,
Yes.
did you like this movie?
Just kidding.
So here's the thing. I did like it before I get into my thing. I was not expecting it to be like that. I was expecting a straightforward narrative about a couple, like that's the typical rom-com-esque tropes we saw. Not like, I guess. Okay, whatever. I was not expecting the memory erasure thing and like the sci-fi aspects. It kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if I was in the mood or something, but I was kind of like, I was not really into it at first. But then once we see the scenes with Jim Carrey just like losing his absolute mind, that he doesn't want to lose those memories, it really hit me then. I'm like, oh, this is really sad. It's so fucking tragic. And
yeah,
overall, I definitely dug it. I'm not really too much into Charlie Kaufman's work. I've only seen what's it called? I'm thinking
I'm
about
thinking
ending.
of ending
Yeah,
things.
which I didn't really
Yeah,
like. I thought it was kind of boring. So I'm not really too
whatever.
familiar with Charlie Kaufman, and I don't know if it's because I need to see his other films to really. I need to rewatch this because it just caught me off guard in a way just was not expecting that. But
If you had a problem with this, you're gonna have a problem with other movies too.
I don't know. I mean, I dug it. I just think I need to rewatch it because it's still kind of pondering and like in my head. I definitely think it requires more than one viewing to
Have you
fully
seen
grasp it.
Being John Malkovich?
No, I have not. I haven't seen anything else
Okay.
from Kaufman.
That's a good one.
I know he's made that an adaptation with
Yep.
I don't care for that one that much, honestly. It's good, but that's not one that I like think about too often.
Well, I want to see Snake. How do you say that? Fucking
Synecdoche, New York.
yeah, I do want to see that though. That looks. I love Philip
That's a
Seymour
great
Hoffman.
one. That's my second favorite behind this one, actually.
I feel like you got to go into that knowing that it's not conventional, because it's not a straightforward story. It's honestly very complex. That's one of and like I feel like
That
people,
movie's like just about existentialism, pretty much. Like,
yeah, like it, and there's a lot of weird shit in it, and it's stuff you just don't see every day in a regular movie because it's not a regular movie. And I feel like when I first watched that movie, I went into it thinking it would be just normal, and I didn't like it at first. But rewatching it, I feel like that movie changes as you change as a person.
Wait,
And
what's the animation he made? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Anomalisa, I love that movie.
I want to see that. That looks cool because it's stop motion.
It-
Right?
you know what's
so
funny?
good.
That's the one Kaufman movie I don't like.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Sucks, you know.
You fucking suck. What the hell? I love that movie. Oh man, I'm upset. No, but with Eternal Sunshine, um, you know, I feel like a lot of people, and I agree, like it is really sad, but I think this is a good romance, like because you get to see what you'd lose in this movie, and I feel like yeah, you're right. Like obviously this idea of losing your memories is unrealistic, but what I like about Charlie Kaufman is he sets it in a way to where even though it's not real, you could believe that it was because it's not just it. They take it so seriously, like it is like just a procedure, and he explains it so well. Where he's like, "Isn't this like brain damage?" But he's like, "Well, I mean, it technically is brain damage, but just think of it as like a heavy night of drinking." And I feel like it's not just for romance, or like couples. You see someone in the doctor's office who lost like their dog, and they want to forget that they lost their dog. So like they have like I think like a puppy bowl and shit like that. Like you don't just use it for like your couples and shit. And there's also people who overuse it. You hear Kirsten Dunst talking to some lady where she's like, "No, you can't get more than one procedure a year." Like I like the way they kind of set that up, but I I feel like this is a really good romance movie because of scenes where like they're under the covers and she's like kind of talking about how she feels ugly and she had like an ugly doll and she would get so mad at it, and he's just remembering that, and then he loses it and he's like, no, let me keep this one, please, let me keep this
Oh,
one.
it's so heartbreaking.
That shit
Yeah.
hurt. That
That's
line,
such
the
a-
way he delivers it, hit so hard.
Yeah, exactly. I love it so much. And there's just so many scenes like that where you're just kind of like, yeah, would you want to forget this? Because if you forget everything, you forget everything. You get to forget all the good, and it leaves you with that question, like, do you want to keep the pain that this one particular relationship gave you, or do you want to lose it all and even lose all the good shit?
I like how I asked that question. I like how it
Yeah.
made me think, like, would I want to lose some memories that are painful? And honestly, no. I don't
Exactly.
think I would, because then you're just left with, you're left as a half shell of a person, I think. So it does, I like that I asked those questions. And I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. The score was completely obnoxious. I could not stand that fucking score at all. It drove me absolutely crazy, especially in the beginning. When we first, like, quote unquote, meet them together, the music's like, it's like this weird jolly, like, I'm like, what is this? It just ruined it for me. I'm like, can you like either shut it off or stop? I couldn't stand it. It drove me nuts.
I don't. A lot of people love John Bryan. Um, I only really like his score for Synecdoche, which is a great score. But in this one, I don't dislike it as much as you do. But I do. That first scene, I don't like the score. I don't like it at
Ugh.
all either. But it doesn't bother me as much on repeat viewings. But at first, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, I don't like that. But there are some like there's a certain piano song in this one movie that I really like,
Hmm.
and I think in the scenes where like he's absolutely losing his shit, I think the score is really good. But that first scene, I know what you're talking about. I really don't like that one first scene.
Well, his score for Punch Drunk Love is really good, so I'll give him credit for that because it's
Oh
very
yeah, that's
unconventional.
another good one. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, no, I don't hate the score as much as you do, but I do agree that there are some parts where I'm like, I wouldn't have liked it like that.
Well, it's not all bad. It's just like those scenes where it's just
Mhm.
obnoxious. I'm like, oh my god, you're killing me.
There's one Elijah Wood is like the worst fucking person ever. He's such a fucking
Slime ball, dude.
horrible and then I like he's trying to like validate what he's doing by being saying stuff like this guy kind of lives in a dump, huh? Like this place is kind of a dump, you know. I'm kind of better than this guy, right? And he's trying to get like validation from Mark Ruffalo, and Mark Ruffalo's like, yeah, yeah, sure, whatever. And then or when oh god, what did he just says certain things like, oh, the old lady's calling me, and it's like you've been dating for a week and you did it because you're a creep.
Yeah,
Like,
I like
oh
his
man.
first
He reminds
introduction.
me of you, Lawrence.
Fuck you! What the hell? Fucking piece of shit.
His introduction is great though. He comes up, knocks on the window. Hey, can I help you? And he's like, no.
Oh,
And he's like, wait, what do you mean? He just walks away. I was so like, okay.
yeah. I also love that the ending is built in the beginning and you don't know it at first.
Oh, I
Because
love that part of it too.
yeah, like he doesn't have and I think that's what I like about this movie because yeah, you lose the memory, but do you lose the feelings you had at one point? Because both of them are like destroyed after they had this procedure. Like yeah, like they don't know who they are, but the thought of them still lingers in them. Like with Joel, like he still remembers certain things. Like for some reason, he just wants to go to Montauk. Like he just felt that urge to go to Montauk. And for her, you know, because of Patrick, because he's a piece of shit. He's literally trying to be Joel, and he's like saying things that he said, like, "Oh, I could die right now, Clementine. I could die right now." And she like got up because she kind of recognized it. So like, yeah, you lose the memory, but you don't lose that feeling that you had. Like it lingers in your mind, and it makes you feel shitty. And I
Yeah,
think that's like a really strong part of the movie.
yeah, that aspect of it is really, really good. Fuck, I lost the point I was gonna make right now. But uh, I think too, what really stands out is Kate Winslet. There's always been that trope of the quirky girl, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and it's always kind of annoying, honestly.
It's
But-
bad sometimes.
Really bad sometimes, but she pulls it off in a way because she just seems so. I think what the way they pulled it off with her at least is because they show her faults. It's not just the good shit. I think we brought that up earlier, but
Yeah.
it seems more realistic when she does it. Maybe it's just because she's that incredible of an actress, and some of
I
the
love
other
Kate Winslet.
girls-
Yeah, she's great. And Jim Carrey, Lawrence, you mentioned, is also just. I love when he went against his usual self and really played this dramatic part, and he really did a great job. I mean, he really was convincing, and I would say he's the MVP of this one because he's so just
Yeah.
unconventional. I
Yeah,
love
he's
his visual ways.
fantastic.
Yeah,
And I think what I love about this movie too is I think it has so much going for it that just isn't about Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. They also have that subplot with Kirsten Dunst where she had the procedure too, and again she's also falling back in love with the doctor, and I feel like that adds just more weight to just what this procedure is and how it affects people. and how it just affects loved ones. Like obviously he cheated on his wife before, and the wife in that scene is really good.
Yeah.
Like she has such short amount of screen time, but just how done she looks, and like the voice cracks in her cadence. Like she's like, thanks a lot, like it's so fucking sad. It's so rough. I love it a lot. But yeah,
it's like you said, it's a sad movie, but there's also like this weird layer of hope behind it.
yeah,
Because like it's like you said, they might forget the actual memories, but the feeling is still there,
hmm
And despite the fact, I mean that it ends on kind of a upbeat sort of note. At least for this movie, is so depressing for the majority of the runtime, but it still ends with them being like, maybe we can try and make this work out.
Yeah.
And by the way, it still probably won't work out because we know that it didn't work out the first time. But the fact that they're giving it a shot is kind of like the point of the movie. Is like you gotta at least take a leap.
And
of faith.
that's what I like what Kate Winslet says, where she's like, you said it yourself, like, this is what I do. I always do this, and I don't want to do this again. And Jim Carrey, like, I love it. He just goes, okay. I love the way he delivers that. Okay, like, just like, yeah, let's do it. And I think you're right. Like, it is hopeful, but it also, I feel like it leaves a layer of just realism where it might not work, and I feel like that's why the end shot keeps on repeating. Because maybe they're just going to repeat the same mistakes, and we don't know. But I think it leaves it to the audience. Like, is it going to be depressing or is it going to be happy? You decide. How would you go about it? I love that.
I don't know if the editing won any award, but it should have, because the editing is so fucking cool in this movie. By the way, I really dig the way they cut between they'll cut to scenes that they showed you at the beginning, and then the faces are blurred out because the memory.
Oh my god!
It's so cool, but it's so unsettling the very first time it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. That's why I'm almost like, I wonder if they actually CG'd the faces out, or if they literally put like some kind of physical like makeup on them and had them redo the lines or something.
Definitely. CGI.
It looks so realistic too. By the way.
Yeah, it looks great, and I love I think the scenes that impressed me the most are when like you notice that the backgrounds like colors are fading away, like the bookstore, like the books, like they're fading color. Like I love that. Like I like that it's taken away the obscure things that you didn't think you were paying attention to, but you've seen it so many times. Like of course you have a memory of it, but that goes first, and then the core of it goes away. Like that. I love that shit. That's really good. I also like how they play with like, if you didn't see their face or you didn't hear their name, you don't have a memory. But you saw that person, but you don't have a memory. And they play with it with that scene where he's at the bookstore and he tries to turn Patrick around, but it's just the back of his head because that's all he saw.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That shit's tight.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. But I don't know. Brodey, like, what are some of your favorite scenes in the movie?
I would say my favorite scene is when, as his memories are losing, like she's disappearing, and he starts just freaking the fuck out, and especially the scene where he's like on the lake and he's yelling, "No!" I heard the Grinch for a split second, and I kind of laughed because it's not his fault. But because I love the Grinch, I think it's one of my favorite movies. When he just no, like the way it sounded like he was the Grinch. It kind of made me laugh, but I was also like, it was just breaking my heart. But this film did not make me cry. I was I was kind of hoping it would, but I didn't really cry. And I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or it's the film's at fault. But David said take out your knives. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like some real heavy duty shit if I gotta take out my knives from my apartment.
It's not the type of movie that'll make you cry. It's the type of movie that'll make you feel real fucking depressed afterwards.
Yeah, you want to fucking kill yourself right after. That's how I feel.
I did feel that, but I was also still like, kind of like, what the fuck? Like again, I just need to rewatch this because
Brodey really hated this movie.
I didn't hate. Yeah. I liked it. I just it's something I need to just rewatch and truly get a sense of it because it
I
just
feel the
caught
hate
me
in your
off guard.
voice.
Oh my gosh, I didn't hate it. I gave it a positive review.
Sounds very negative. No, I'm just fucking with you. No, yeah, no, I get it. It's a movie that it definitely has a lot going for it, and it is kind of overwhelming. And I think that really is the point. Is just like this
Yeah.
overwhelming feeling of just like losing everything. And one thing I like to take note of this movie is how just normal this procedure is, to where the people working for them, they don't even take it seriously. Like they're just like college students, like getting high, drinking his fucking alcohol, eating his food, dancing on his
apartment,
fucking
partying.
yeah. Like they don't. It's so normal to their lives that like they don't even care. They're just like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on autopilot. Fuck it. Like I don't give a fuck. Like it's just so. And then when they fuck up, they're like, oh no, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
Well, that
like,
adds a layer. It adds a layer of like, I don't want to say realism. It adds realism to the story because
It does, yeah.
it makes it seem like this is a normal thing. Which, in my mind, if this was a real thing, that'd be like a huge, huge deal in our world.
Yeah. I think it would be used a lot, and it would be a real fucking problem. But
It'd be a huge problem, actually.
it'd be a real problem if fucking just walking around, see all your exes, and they don't fucking know who you are. You're like, oh fuck, all right, I guess you erased me. Yeah, it's very, you know what, like, I like that. I feel like if someone who hadn't seen this before saw this movie now, they'd be like, it's like Black Mirror. But, I think it's much smarter than anything that Black Mirror
I'm so
could do.
sorry. I kind of thought that. Fucking Black Mirror ruined it for me with sci-fi stuff.
This is ridiculous, but whatever. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I mean, it is kind of like Black Mirror because of like the technology, but like it's not so focused on the technology. Like it's just what I like about like with Black Mirror. I feel like it focuses heavy on like what the technology can do, and like it's like, oh, it's amazing. But in this, it's like, oh yeah, it's just something that we have. It's just a choice you have. You can do it, whatever. Fuck it.
You forget that this is a sci-fi movie, and it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's because you're right. It is a sci-fi movie because this shit isn't fucking real in any sense, but it does feel like it could be. Like if it makes you feel like if you heard about it, you're like, oh, I guess that is a thing we can do. And yeah.
Well, I appreciate how the procedure doesn't. It's not like this Richie thing, like only rich people can get. It's not a secret. It's like, oh, I'm going to my dermatologist. I'm going to go get my memories erased.
Yeah, it's like it's not like this like.
It's covered health insurance.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me see. Oh yeah, you're covered for this. Like, yeah, you're right. Exactly. I like that anyone can just go in and get it. Like, it's not like just some like, oh, you go to this secret place and like you can do this. Like, it's like, oh no, you can just go into the corner store and it's right there.
Yep.
I love that. Like, it, again, adds a realism to it. And I like how much.
I want to say a special shout out though to Beck's original song for this because I fucking love this song so much.
Is it the ending song?
The story, yeah. But the thing is that they weave it in the middle of the score too. I don't know if you caught that. They do that a couple times actually.
Oh no, I didn't actually. That's cool.
And they like little bits and pieces of it because it's an original song that he made for the movie, and I don't know. I really dig the song.
Oh yeah, no, it is a good song, and yeah, I think what is it too? I also just like how Jim Carrey gets to kind of just reflect on the memory. Like he's like, oh, this is the first time I met you. This is the last time I saw you. And he's like, that scene in the end where when they first meet, and she's like, it's almost over, and she's like, what do we do? He's like, just enjoy it. Like that's it. Like, oh man, this movie. You're right. It doesn't make me cry, but it gets in my feels. Like it really just it pulls on my heartstrings. It's something that's so relatable because, like, I think it makes you think, like, would I want to forget that one relationship I had? Would I want to do that? And the answer is no. Like, why would I want to forget something that happened to me? Like, it made me the person that I am, and, like, if you take it away, you're taking a piece of you away. And I think that
you're forgetting the lessons that you learned from that relationship to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just going through the motions, you just want to forget it. Like, it doesn't benefit you in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Great stuff. I fucking
rare good point by Lawrence. Good job.
All right. Yeah, no, and then what do you guys think about the decision that Kirsten Dunst makes to expose the truth to all the clients?
Well, that's fucked up. I
It
I
it's
understand
damaging.
why she was upset and why she'd be upset at him and shit, at the
Hmm.
doctor, at Tom Wilkinson. But I'm like, oh, dude, like these people all wanted to like get rid of this person, whoever they wanted to, and now you just undid that. That's really fucked up. I didn't. I mean,
Yeah,
it works in the movie. I didn't like that her character decided to do that, though.
definitely a selfish act on her part.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I would have agreed if I would have like when I saw this, I did this movie. I watched a movie a while ago, like I think in 2020, and I felt the same way, where it was like, oh man, like that's a shitty thing to do. Like it's damaging. Like you could potentially be ruining someone. But I think one thing I like to think about is, at least in Joel and Clementine's perspective, they're already fucked up over something. Like Clementine is fucking damaged from just the procedure, but she doesn't know why. And while when they find out, it is pretty fucked up, and they feel kind of like shitty about it. It does help them in the end a little bit, like just kind of like get over it. Like, oh yeah, we did do this. We don't remember it, but it did happen. And yeah, it's a very conflicting thing to think about with what Kirsten Dunst did. But
Well,
yeah,
I think that I like the idea that it kind of like makes you think, you can try to erase this memory all you want, but it's going to come back to you. I kind of think the film's trying to say, like, you can have this procedure, you can do whatever it takes, but no matter what, erase your memories is not going to happen. You're going to it's going to come back one way or the other. So I kind of like that in a way, even though, yeah, I just like that.
yeah, no, I agree. I think that's really the point, and it makes me sad. It makes me really sad that Charlie Kaufman made this movie. He won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for it.
Oh, he did?
And like, yeah, he did. He won Best
cool.
Original Screenplay. Yeah, and it's the one time he was ever recognized for his movies, and it's upsetting, because he's an Oscar winner, and he's like having so much trouble for like funding his movies. Like he has to do a lot of self-funding, and for like Anomalisa, it was like a Kickstarter campaign that he had to do to get that movie going. Like that makes me fucking sad. Like this great writer is just having so much trouble.
At least Quantum Mania has a $250 million
Oh,
budget.
right.
Shit.
Okay.
Wow. So Kaufman has something in common with Rob Zombie. He's also struggling with funding his movies, and he is an awesome writer too.
Yeah,
Granted, Charlie Kaufman's actually like good.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Haters.
Fuck, I hate Rob Zombie. I hate his movies so much. To be granted, I will watch. What's that one that's actually apparently good?
Lords of Salem.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll check that out someday.
Yeah, it's good.
I can't imagine it ever changing my perspective of Halloween 2, but we'll give it a go. Halloween 2 is
the worst.
awful.
One of the worst movies ever, by the way.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. I hate it.
Like Adam
I hate it
Sandler
so-
in Uncut Gems once said, I disagree.
Bullshit. You're lying to yourself, Brodey. Stop lying.
I'm a changed man. Rob Zombie has
No.
changed me.
There's no fucking way anyone feels that way to Halloween 2. No fucking way. Yeah, I don't know. Eternal Sunshine's awesome. I love it to death. I think that's all we got to say about it, probably. Or you guys got something else?
Talk about a good movie now.
Oh, gross. Yeah, this is probably the worst movie of the bunch.
Should we give
I
ratings
would,
first?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. Since it was my pick. I love it. I don't think I'm ready to give it a 5. I think I've always felt that way. Like it's on the cusp of being a 5, but I think I'm more comfortable with the 4.5 out of 5. It is pretty fucking amazing. I love it. I'm a huge fan of Charlie Kaufman and his work, so this movie is just, I love it to death. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5.
David?
This is one of my favorite movies. I think this is the best film that came out that year. I think it's one of the best sci-fi movies ever. I'm a strong 5 out of 5.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I liked it overall. I need to rewatch it. I'm still I know I've repeated myself, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a parrot here, but I just need to rewatch it. It's pondering still with me. It's unique and interesting, and I got to watch more coffin movies. So 4 out of 5, it's good.
I'm dropping
Honestly,
the
I
score.
thought you were
to
going to
the
give it a
story.
way lower score by the way you were talking about it.
No,
Yeah.
it's just like I should have watched it twice, honestly, because I watched it. I think I watched it last night, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And then after it was over, it just kind of like, even like when you get punched in the face, you kind of like have to like
Yeah.
recoup. That's kind of what I was like. I got punched in the face by this movie, and I just need to. I should have watched it twice, but I liked it. I really did. I liked it overall.
I'm dropping my score to Love Story right now.
Hey, that's your right.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm glad you liked it, and I think the more you watch it, you'll feel more positive towards it. But it is, yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you watched it for the first time. I'm glad I was not the reason, but I mean, I'm kind of the reason you watched it.
yeah. I should have said recommended by you, but I just didn't. So I apologize for
No,
that.
no. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Let's talk about a bad movie, huh?
No, we're talking about time, actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
It's
bad
about
movie.
time.
It's about time. Let's get to
was
the
not funny.
shit. I'll go last on this one.
Oh, God. All right. Look, About Time is this sort of time travel, not really time travel. I mean, it's about a guy who can travel back into his own consciousness.
So time travel.
Sort of.
I get what you mean.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
like
just kidding.
is that. Yeah, go on.
I will say it's good to not get bogged down into the intricacies of like how does the time travel work and the butterfly effect and all that other shit. But I will say it is actually acknowledged by Bill Nye
Yeah.
that hey,
Is that who that is?
Yes.
that's Bill
Oh
Nye.
shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so it's good to not get into the weeds of it. It's more one of those things where you kind of have to accept it. And it's about Domhnall Gleeson. I don't know how to what's his I forgot his name in the movie.
I don't
Hold on.
remember.
I have it pulled up right here.
Tim.
Tim?
That's right, Tim.
Tim. Okay, look. It's about Tim basically being kind of a dork for the most part of his life, and then he turns 21 and his dad, drops this bomb on him that, hey, all the men in our family can time travel. And then he says, if you don't believe me, just go ahead and do it right now, and he shows him how to do it, and then he just does it. And then is able to go back immediately to that one same spot, And
Yeah.
I don't know, in it's such a weird little concept that they came up with the movie. But I fucking love this movie. And I remember somebody on film Twitter actually recommended it to me. I wish I could give them credit, but this was like 5 years ago or something. So I don't remember who it was, but they did blow me away. Whoever it was that recommended it, I owe them because it's become one of my favorite movies now.
Nice.
I'm gonna go last on this one.
Yeah. I like this one overall. I liked the concept. I liked how I would consider this time travel in a way. And with time travel, it's very tricky. You have to have a set of rules and you have to follow them. And I really think this film succeeded in its own rules and following them. I like the Margot Robbie cameo in the beginning, by the way. That was a nice little surprise. Like, oh yeah, 2013. I think when this came out. So that's before she got kind of big, right?
Yeah, back when it wasn't a cameo, back when it was just, some random, who is this?
Yeah. Like when she came
and
out,
then-
like, oh, is she the... I knew Rachel McAdams was in it. I'm like, why is Margot Robbie doing this? But I liked how the film kind of has these questions, like, kind of like with the last film we talked about, like, what would you change and what would you not change? And when certain events happen, could you go back and change something, but then you're going to miss out with this? It made me question that. I like the acting. The thing is, with modern romance films, they kind of... I can't explain why I don't like them. They have this, like, this thing that I just can't get past, and this movie kind of had
the
that.
cheesiness?
I would say the cheesiness, but...
This feels like it's directed more, like, towards a particular audience than it is for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like most people wouldn't go see this. Like, if they're like, oh, it looks like that one movie.
Like, I
You
wouldn't
know,
watch
but-
this unless David recommended it for the podcast. I mean, no offense.
Same.
But now you guys love it though, right? You guys are like, oh my god, this is a 5 out of 5 all timer.
I liked it. I liked the concept. I liked that it wasn't just a typical rom-com. It made me think. Yeah, I liked it. I'm sorry I'm so vague, but I don't know.
I really want to hear Lawrence, because I know Lawrence actually has some like thoughts on this, right?
Yeah, you can say that. No, I know what you said, that you would like to remember which Film Twitter mutual who recommended for you and thank them. I'd like to know too, so I can fucking talk shit about them and just tell them like, you're a fucking idiot because you recommended this movie to David, and now I'm watching this movie. And yeah, this movie sucks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fucking with you, David. I did like it. I did like the concept. I do like how, you're right, like it's pretty simple how they time travel. Like they literally just go in a closet, fucking clench their fists, and think about a time they want to go back to, and there you are. I like that a lot. I think that's a pretty interesting concept. The only thing, and I know it's the point of the movie, but the only thing that really was holding me back for a lot of the movie is the character of Tim. I think he's such a fucking dweeb. Like, he's such a fucking dweeb, and he's kind of a creep. He's creepy to me. Like, he's just like tries to like put. I understand it's the point, but I feel like they really dig in heavy on like the fact that he can just change everything. Like, he can like manipulate certain things to go his way.
That is weird. That is weird.
Yeah,
Fair, but also it's not like he's going back and like, banging some random like he's going back.
No, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he goes back and he fixes the where somebody fucked up on his friend's play. You know what I mean? Like,
but
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Awesome. I love that scene.
You know what?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
I would love to see a movie with Patrick from Eternal Sunshine with this power and see what he would do.
Oh, he'd do the same thing. He's like the same person. He's a fucking because think about it. Think about it. He's like a little kid, like banging his fist on the floor because he didn't get what he wanted. Like the scene where because he's so stupid. He's like, I'm sorry, Tim's a fucking idiot. Like, he doesn't think about anything. Like I love the scene when he first meets Mary, right? That's her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when he first meets her because like it's in this dark room, like
blind
and
date.
like yeah, it's literally a blind date, and like I like that you don't get to see them either. Like it's just like literally like, you're blind with them, and even when like you can't see what's happening, they have so much chemistry, and I really liked that. And then he fucks it up, like, because he goes back in time and fixes his fucking friend's play, and he never got her number, and then he's a fucking creep, and then he finds out she had a boyfriend like right after that experience he had with her, and he's like, I want her, so he goes back in time and fixes everything. And like, I don't know, like, to me, like, at first he's just such a creep. I don't know. I couldn't get past that.
This dude is literally you.
I think that's why I hate him, because it's such self-hatred. No, yeah, like, he's such a creep to me. Like, just the things he does and says, and he's also just such a sorry guys, like fucking dweeb. Like he messes up. What does he say to the parents? Like, oh yeah, we're not doing oral though, and it's like, shut up, man.
No,
like,
hey,
yeah.
Anal.
No, he said oral.
He says oral. Oh,
yeah, he's like, we're not doing oral though, and it's like, stop, man. Like, God, you're such a fucking loser.
Well, I love that scene where he goes to the Kate Moss like art gallery thing, and he like waits for hours and hours, and he finally sees her. He's like, hey, it's so nice to see you again. She's like, we never met before. He's, oh fuck. That was so funny. Yeah, but so cringe.
I think I think that's also my little problem I have with this movie is that, like, after watching something like Love Story and Eternal Sunshine, there was something authentic and genuine to those people and how they fell in love. And with this, it's just a guy who manipulated the system. Like, he literally, like, he knew she liked K Moss. He was like, yeah, I fucking love K Moss. Like, he doesn't fucking know anything about K Moss. He manipulated his way into this relationship, into like having it the way he wanted. And I mean, I get it, and I think that's why I don't dislike this movie, because of the third act. Because the third act really saves it. Like, it, to me, like the whole thing he has with his dad, and like how he keeps on going back just to have those moments with him. And the dad teaches him a great lesson, like, after this, just live in the moment, like as if, like you can't go back, because like you're missing out on so much of the everyday life experience, if you keep on changing it. And I think that's what saves it, because at first I just couldn't get over how much of a fucking creep he was.
I do think you're not wrong about him.
Yeah.
He is my least favorite aspect of this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't. But again, I don't think he's a bad guy either. I think it's like you said. He's just like a dork.
He's a
He
dweeb.
just doesn't know how to socialize, and he needs all this time travel shit to help him be better at it.
Yeah, I know, I get that. I mean, I get like why that happened. It's just, there's just certain things he does where it's like, you're so fucking stupid. I also do like he starts to kind of use it for good later on, like where he's trying to help his sister, and I like that they keep going back to that party, because I like that the movie, like, everything that led to the lives that they had was at kind of that party. Like, she met that asshole, which, by the way, that dude's a fucking dick. Let her drive fucking drunk and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like that stuff. I think that the way he's like, we're gonna fix this until we get it right, because I don't want to lose you. And like the scene that really was crazy was when he did help her, and he's like, "Oh, where's my little baby?" And it's another baby. It's like, oh no, that's awful.
No, I love that he's like, "Oh, hello, little boy."
Yeah, like that's scary. Imagine that though. Like, you come home and you have a totally different kid. Like, that's sad. That's the saddest thing ever. Oh my god. Yeah, it's so sad.
You know what though? This suffers from the classic thing that we get in a lot of like sitcoms, where the main lead is really the least interesting character, and all the side characters are way better. I think that's what happens.
That happens
in this
way
movie
too often. That happens way.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Happens in How I Met Your Mother. It happens in so many. In The Office, because Michael's an awful character. It happens in so. No, I'm fucking with you.
I was like, what?
No, but it happens in so many shows. Usually, not as often in movies. But like, I love his sister's character.
Yeah,
Kat. I like her name.
Kit Kat. Yeah. I love
Kit
her.
Kat.
Vanessa Kirby's really fucking funny in this, and she's.
Oh, I love Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah, she's so good in this.
Yeah, she's great.
I love the guy that's the playwright, his friend who's his roommate too. That dude is so fucking funny to me.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Oh no. Go on, because I was just making a dumb point.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's most of your points. But for me though, Bill Nighy is so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah.
And the dynamic between him and Tim is for me what so. I mean, we picked this. I picked this as my rom-com, quote unquote, pick. Mm-hmm. But realistically, what stands out to me is that father-son, dynamic. Which is, I brought it up earlier. It's ironic not having grown up with one. I don't know. Maybe this movie's almost romanticizing the idea of a dad. You know what I mean?
Now I know why you like this movie so much.
Yeah, now you know why I like it.
He touches the screen and says, "Dad."
Aw, I'm sorry, David.
He was my dad. He's so cool in this, dude. He's so good in this movie.
Honestly, he's better than what the movie asked for. Like, I think he gives it his all. Like the scene when he's giving the best man speeches. That was great. I love that scene.
Yeah, because he gives
Definitely
a
feel.
great one, and then he's like, you know what? I didn't say I love you, so I gotta redo this. So he does it again. It's
That's
so
crazy. Oh,
good.
he's the one that does that. He goes back in time for that.
He does. Yeah, he tells Tim, he's like, I gotta redo that. I didn't say I love you, and even Tim is like, no, it's not a big deal. It's still a great speech, and it's implied that you said I love you. He's like, no, but I have to say it, and so he goes back and he redoes it again.
That's great. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, I think that aspect of the movie is the strongest part of it because like since Tim is such a fucking creep and he's pretty much like David. Honestly, I feel like David would definitely be like Tim in this movie. And and yeah, but I think the dynamic with him and his dad, like I think honestly the best scene is at the end when he's like, I want to go back somewhere. And if we don't change anything and we're very careful, I think this is going to be a good experience. And they go back to like this one moment they had when Tim was like a little boy and they're at the
Yeah.
beach and they're just
Yeah,
enjoying them. Like that is when the movie's at its strongest. When it's really about like just Tim and just his fucking creepy dweebish fucking loser ways. I'm just like, ugh. Like, oh, you're such a fucking loser, dude. Like, and you know what? I think you're right about the whole lead thing. Like, he is very uninteresting, and I feel like you're right. It's something that's happens a lot in modern stuff, and I think it's for the audience. Honestly, it's like to kind of insert themselves in this one-dimensional character, which sucks because like it makes the movie weak overall. Like I think of like Love Story. You can't say that about Ryan O'Neal because he has his own
I
problems. Like he Okay. For me, like he's his own character, and I can't insert myself in his situation. And I just get to experience him as a character. And in this one, like he's just a fucking dweeb, loser, fucking bitch, and I can't stand him.
It is tough to have a character like that because an example of a main character that is a creep that I thought of, and sorry to bring back the Universal monsters, but the Wolfman. In the Wolfman, the main character has a telescope. And he spies on the love interest who's engaged. And he goes to her store and he was like, hey, what about those earrings on your dresser? And she's like taken back. And he's like, yeah, I saw through my telescope. I was spying on you. And she's just like, what?
Ew.
And then she agrees to go on a date with him. And this is the 40s. So, of course, male writers back then don't care. She goes on a date with him despite being engaged. I'm like, dude, he fucking spied on you and you're interested? What the fuck? That's so creepy and weird. So I kind of get where Lawrence is coming from.
Yeah, it's just like it's hard to get so invested in the love story when it just feels so wrong. Like it just doesn't feel like it. I mean, I get why they do it. I get why like he's a fucking loser and he needs help and like that's why he uses the time travel. But to me, like it comes off very manipulative and just kind of creepy. And I don't know. Yeah. Go on.
I think he learned his lesson in the beginning. I love with Margot Robbie. I love how she doesn't straight up tell him she's not interested. She tells him on the last night, you should have done this earlier. So he goes back and does it earlier. And she's like, you got to do this on the last night. That subtle hint of I'm not interested is really well done. I really enjoyed that part. And I think he kind of learned his lesson a little bit there in that scene.
Kind of. Definitely.
I think the most unrealistic part of this is him not banging Margot Robbie if he had the opportunity to do that.
I thought he was. Because I was like, really, dude? Like, you're really gonna do this? Like, I already think you're a fucking creep. Now you're an asshole. You really are like David.
I think he had a chance. You really think he had a chance?
If I was married with 5 kids, I would leave my wife for Margot Robbie. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
you are Tim. We know you're a creepy asshole.
I mean, I'm not. No offense to Mr. Gleason. He's not ugly, but come on.
No, he's not ugly.
Come on.
No, he's not. He's not ugly.
Come on.
I mean, he kind of did. She was basically like, "Come in this apartment," like.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, I'm not, I gotta go somewhere. It's like, oh, what now? You fucking realize it, you dweeb.
He was like, no, I can't do this, and he just like left a little bit.
Whatever. No, yeah, it's not a movie I dislike or anything. It's just the main character really bugs me.
I mean, no, but again, I think that's totally because he is the most uninteresting part, and you're right. Specifically, the shit between him and Mary is about with him trying to like sort of. I mean, I don't know if it's really manipulating as much as it's like, all right, he has all this secret.
He's not manipulating her. He's just manipulating the situation. That's how I see it. Like he's not like technically he's not doing anything wrong if she doesn't know it because literally she doesn't know it because they're going in the past. I just think it's weird to manipulate the situation that like he's able to do it and he doesn't.
Well, I will say like it's different than like Elijah Wood in Eternal Sunshine because he's literally copying something, you know, like a different conversation that she had with a different person.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. This is literally info that he got from her on his actual date with her in the dark.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Wrong, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think in this world, in this setting, he isn't doing anything technically wrong because, I mean, she just didn't know him in her mind. It's just a little weird still, but you're right. Patrick obviously is the real manipulator because he's manipulating her feelings and because of she obviously had strong feelings for Joel and he's just trying to be Joel. So like, yeah, I get what you mean there.
Yeah,
still a creep.
Yeah,
still a creep.
Right, as usual. Yeah.
No, he's still a creep, and I can't stand his fucking face. But no, no. I did like it though. It's not like I fucking hate it. I just the character pisses me off so
Did you
much.
like the score, by the way? I really like the score in this too.
I didn't really recognize it honestly.
Yeah, I'm with
on that
one.
There's a lot of piano in this.
Yeah, no, I didn't really catch it. I'll go look back on it, see if it's good. I'm sure it is. I do like the sound of when he goes back in time and how it's utilized throughout the movie. So like when he's going back. I think the one scene where he uses the time travel that's actually funny is when he the first time he has sex with Mary and she's like, it was fine, and he's like, oh, hold on, and he goes back and he's like,
that's awesome,
and he's like, how about that? And she's like, yeah, that was good. And he's like, oh, hold on, he's just keeps on going back.
Such a
that is a guy thing. Yeah, it is a guy thing. It's like I'm gonna get this right.
300 tries later.
Yeah, what a fucking dweeb. I can't fuck. He's such a loser.
It is an interesting concept, though, is it not? It's just like
yeah. The one scene where he's like, "Oh, I'd be careful saying that girlfriend thing. Everyone's gonna think you're gay," and it's like, what? You fucking loser! Like you're such a dweeb. I hate you. God damn it.
I will say though, by the end of the movie, are you cooler with Tim after the whole thing with his dad and everything? Okay. Once
he has his kids, I think that's when he's more likable. Like, there's the idea that I think once he loses one of his kids, like he has a boy now, and he gets the girl back, I think that's when he's more likable because he's like, oh shit, I could really fuck this up, and then like I'm glad that he actually understood that once the baby was about to be born, that he couldn't see his dad no more. Because it could fuck it up, and I'm glad that he made that decision. I understand it wasn't an easy one, but I'm glad he made it. That's when he became more likable, and that's when I started to like the movie. Because honestly, at first I was like, this movie's pissing me off, but yeah, no, I think the third act and Bill and Nighy really save the movie for me because
Rachel McAdams, she's good too.
Oh, I love Rachel McAdams. Yeah, I love her so much. She's incredible.
Regina George. Ugh.
You know what's weird? Do you guys? I feel like Rachel McAdams in the early 2000s is different from her now. She looks so different to me from like Regina George to this.
Yeah, she aged.
I disagree. I think she's aged incredible. I think she looks exactly the same.
No. I'm not talking about age. She's aged beautifully. Like I'm not saying she looks older. She just looks so different. Like there's just something there.
I see what you're saying.
I would even go as far as to say like she looks different from Regina George to like her character in Red Eye, which is not that far off.
No, I think they're like a year apart.
What'd you say?
Dude, sorry. They're like a year apart. I think Red Eye came out in 2005 and Regina George is from 04, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just something about that and like her what she looks like now looks so like she looks different. I think it's her eyebrows. Like I don't fucking know, but she just looks so different to me.
Oh,
You know what's funny too though, that you bring up the Regina George role. I feel like she got so famous off of that first role. If you notice, almost every role that she's done since is so completely different than that one. Like so different.
She
Like,
could have gone down
I
the
don't
path
think
of
she's
doing
ever-
that.
She's never played the bitchy girl ever again in any other
Yeah,
movie I've seen her.
She could have been typecast because she played it so well, but yeah, I think for the most part, I've only seen her play likable people. Like, I mean, she's great in like Game Night.
I gotta see
I
that,
really,
by the way.
Spotlight.
You haven't seen Game Night?
No, I want to though. I keep seeing that Frito Lay joke, and it makes me laugh every time. So I gotta
It's-
see Game Night.
One of
In
the funniest
context
jokes
of the
ever.
movie, it's even funnier.
It's way funnier. It's way funnier
Yeah, I
because
need
he's
to
such
see
a
that.
creep.
And I love what's his name? The guy.
Jason Bateman.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah, I love him. He's fantastic. That's a great movie, and I think it's really well directed too. Like, it's one of the best looking comedies I think of the most recent years. But yeah, Rachel McAdams is great. I love her in Spotlight. I think she's great in that.
She's
ever seen
she's
Spotlight?
terrific in Spotlight. She's great in Wedding Crashers too, by the way, which is
I haven't seen that
forgotten
one.
incredible fucking comedy movie.
I've seen Wedding Crashers. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but yeah, I liked it.
Wait, did you
It's
say
funny.
that Mean Girls came out in 04, like Eternal Sunshine?
Yeah.
So Eternal Sunshine's the second best movie of 04 then.
All
Oh,
right.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Mean Girls is great.
If whoever calls Mean Girls a chick flick, they're obviously fucking stupid because Mean Girls is a phenomenal comedy.
It kind of is a chick flick, but it just doesn't matter. It's so fucking good.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like chick flicks given such a negative thing.
Kind of. But it's more than a chick
Well,
flick.
because-
It's a good comedy.
Oh, it's a great comedy.
Yeah,
It's
great,
fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
I
Yeah, no, I
Mean
love that
Girls.
movie. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm just realizing that I'd rather talk about any other movie than About Time. Just such a shit movie.
Okay, hold on then.
I'm just kidding.
I want to hear your guys' ratings on it because I do want to talk about some other all-time great rom-coms and romance movies in general. So, what would
Sure.
you guys rate it?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I give it a 7 out of 10. Solid. Like the concept. I like that they didn't really like. It could have easily been more dark, but I like that Tim, even being unlikable, made some decisions that made sense. But I liked it overall. It wasn't bad. I don't think I'd watch it again though. But yeah.
I gave it a 3 out of 5, and I think it's closer to a 3.5, and definitely could be. It's just I think the feelings I have about the first few acts like just really just bugged me a lot, but the third act like saved this from being like totally negative. And I also thought it was funny that the mom, Tim's mom is in Birdman, and the friend he lives with is in Bird Box. Conspiracy? I don't know.
Wait.
I'm just saying.
Oh, the roommate was he the guy who like opened the old woman's eyes and was like, "Look,
Yeah.
look." I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
in
it
Bird
was.
Box. Yeah.
Oh, Richard Grant's also in this movie too. He plays the guy who forgot his lines. In the
Oh, that
play.
was funny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was. Oh, he's so good in this too.
Even though he
actually.
forgot his lines for a lot longer. He forgot his lines, and then Tim goes up there and he looks over, and then he just knows his lines. Like, come on, Harry is a genius. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that one line ruined the whole thing, and it made the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Sure. Yeah, but yeah, 3 out of 5.
Okay. Well, for me, this is it's my recommendation. It's a 5 out of 5 for me.
No,
will say
fuck
that-
you.
I saw a lot of
5
5 out
out
of
of
5s on
5.
Letterboxd. Did you see that,
Yeah,
Lawrence?
why? Yeah, why? I was thinking like this is like a, like a 3.6, but no, there's so many positive fucking things.
Go on Letterboxd, bitch. That's right.
Honestly, I think it's one of.
like, whoa.
You want to know what I think it is? I think it's one of those instances where it's kind of like the Paris, Texas effect that Matt had, where it's like one person probably watched it and was like, I fucking love this, and then another person watched it, and then another person watched it. That's what I think happened.
I don't want to give Matt that credit because he's full of shit. First of all, that movie is really famous. All right, that movie has always been big. I've heard of that movie for a long time, and then I think Matt is the one person who watched it, and other people watching it again because of him.
I actually watched it because of him.
It's not because of him, okay? Fuck that guy. Fuck Matt.
I did watch it because of him, because I never heard of it till he said something about it. Like, oh, I gotta check this out.
Here's the thing. I did hear of it. I did hear of it before Matt mentioned it, but the only reason I ever watched it was because he was saying it's so good, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, well, whatever. The movie sucks. No, it's fine. It's a fine movie, but people were like, "It's the best movie ever, masterpiece," and I'm just like, "No,
it's a good 4 out of 5."
Not. It's just, it's
I
almost.
give it a 4.5. It's a really, really, really good movie. It's just, I give Matt
fine.
that credit.
I do like that third act though,
person.
where he's just talking to her, facing away from her, and she's in the reflection.
That's a great scene.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's not movie 43, but it's fine.
Hold on. I mean, that we're talking about Paris, Texas. It doesn't count as a rom-com, though, right? We're not talking about this.
No. That's just a drama. I was just saying that that it had that effect. I feel like About Time had that effect. Like maybe one person watched it and said it was great, and then it made someone else watch it and they thought it was great. I think that's why the Letterboxd thing is so positive.
Or maybe you're just fucking wrong, all right?
I don't know.
So,
you know what?
Love Story's better.
Love Story has a 3.2. It's so low. I thought,
which is unfair. It's unfair.
It is unfair.
It's unfair.
When I saw other, I went through everyone's reviews, not just Mutual's, but just everyone. I'm like, what the fuck are these? Why are these so low? I just couldn't. I couldn't understand which, again, other people's opinions, but I was like, why are they so low? I don't get it.
No, Brodey, stop respecting other people's opinions. Some people are wrong. Yeah, they're fucking wrong.
Moonlight has like a 4.1.
Okay, all right.
Drop that a whole fucking letter grade, can we?
Shut up. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Love Story is a better one. I would say out of these 3 movies, I'd go Eternal Sunshine, Love Story, and then About Time. Actually, I'll put like 20 other movies in front of About Time, and then About Time's like right at the bottom.
I would go in order: Love Story, Eternal Sunshine, not Eternals.
Eternals?
Not Eternals. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Marvel movies.
No. So good. You're right.
And then About Time. But I mean, we all had good picks. I think.
I agree. I think these were like the perfect 3 in terms of theme and story. I think if we picked anything else, it wouldn't have been as great.
I said in the beginning, you guys picked sort of romance films with weird concepts to them.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Which just shows that our love lives are awful, and you picked the one where it's genuine. Yeah. Well, that sucks.
What are some of your guys' other favorites? Not just romance movies, but rom-coms in general.
Mm-hmm. I think one that I always go when I think rom-com, I think of like the perfect balance of like romance, but I feel like a rom-com should be really funny. Like, yeah, you could say Eternal Sunshine's kind of a rom-com, but that's more depressing than it'll ever be funny. And for me, when I think of a funny movie that is a rom-com, I think of Crazy Stupid Love.
I've never seen it.
What?
I don't watch much rom-coms, so when we talked about this discussion, I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of
dude.
I need to watch more.
You're gonna be blown away by Ryan Gosling in that movie.
I love Ryan Gosling in that movie because Ryan Gosling is, in my opinion, a better comedic actor than dramatic. He's so fucking funny in Crazy Stupid Love, but there's a great twist in that movie, and it's one of my favorite twists ever. And
it's so good, the twist.
The twist is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's so good. And yeah, that I love that one. And then if we're going a little more like conventional, like I love The Apartment. I love Some Like It Hot. You know, the classics. But I would love to know what you guys think.
Well, you named 3 of my favorites,
Oh, sorry.
unironically.
Okay, cool.
You see, okay, there's also one that I love that probably doesn't hold up, but it's a movie that I grew up with. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's Just Friends.
No.
Have you guys seen Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart?
No, I haven't seen
No,
that.
I know what you're talking about. Never seen it.
I think it's really fucking funny. There's a lot of jokes in there because of the year that it came out that probably don't hold up too well, but it's really funny.
Honestly,
you
that's yeah. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was gonna say if you can suspend your whole, okay, this is 2005, so let's pretend like this wasn't a really offensive joke aspect of it. If you can move past that, then I think you'll think it's funny and charming.
That kind of thing never bothers me. You know, like I feel like when someone's like, I can't believe they said this in 1970. It's like, duh. Like it's like, duh. Yeah, it was a different fucking time. Of course, it said shit that you don't like. But no, like there's movies I love where, you know, I mean, like Superbad is amazing, but they say the F word a lot. You know, like, but that doesn't like.
Fuck a lot.
No, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh
No, the other F
Yeah.
word.
The other F word, the offensive, the slur.
which one, Lawrence?
Shut up. Yeah, no. I think that doesn't detract from it being a good movie. It's just it's a part of the time that it was released. But honestly, I noticed Ryan Reynolds was in a lot of like offensive comedies back then.
Oh, he's in a ton of them. He's in that. He's in Waiting.
Waiting, yeah,
Van Wilder.
yeah.
Van
funny.
Wilder. I haven't seen that in years.
Really funny, but yeah, it has a lot of jokes that don't hold up.
Van Wilder. That's a good one.
Aside from Waiting being like mildly offensive, like I hate that movie. That movie sucks.
Why do you hate it? It's funny.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not like I hate the fucking kid from Freaks and Geeks in it. Like that outburst he has the whole time. I was like, oh, shut up! Like fucking guy, you're so annoying.
No,
I don't know.
That's the best. That's the best part of the movie is that outburst he has at the end.
No, he's not. The thing is like I feel like someone else could have delivered that so much better. But he's again. I think I just have a problem with fucking dweebs, and he's a fucking dweeb.
He literally calls Dane Cook the biggest piece of shit that he knows for no reason, and that shit always has me fucking dying of laughter.
He's just a dweeb. I hate dweebs.
But you are one.
That's true. No, I'm not. Fuck you. No, I'm trying to think of other romance
There hasn't
movies I
been a
like.
good rom-com in a while outside of maybe what, Palm Springs? Have you guys
That's a
seen
good
that
one. I like that one.
Love Palm Springs a lot. That's probably the best one that's come out in recent years.
Another
In,
concept
like,
movie.
in the
Weird.
last 5 years at least, yeah.
I think that's the only way we can make good rom-coms if it has a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any. I feel like if they made a love story today, they'd be like, it's cliche and boring.
No, it'd be on Lifetime or fucking Hallmark.
Yeah, it would suck. Like people. Then again, like I don't think that's the fault of the audience. I think that's the fault of writers today that don't want to create characters that. Oh well, you know, this isn't a romance movie, but I know Brodey doesn't like this movie, but Marriage Story. I feel like
God.
those are characters I really love.
The most 3 out of 5 movie I've ever seen.
Oh fuck you! I hate the way you feel about it, and no, I don't respect your opinion.
That's okay. That's
Dude,
okay.
come on. The most 3 out of 5 movie of all time is Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh,
you know what?
God,
You're not wrong.
shut up.
I actually have that rated 3 out of 5. I actually do.
Exactly, because it's fucking mid as fuck.
It's a 4.
I have Return of the
Yeah,
King 3 out of 5 too.
not even another 5 out of 5 are good. I'm glad. We all agree
Whatever.
that movie sucks.
I didn't say that.
I watched all Lord of the Rings films in one night. That was a bad idea. It's a bad.
well,
idea.
well,
By the time I got to the
Wow.
third one, I was like, dude, I am so sick of this shit. It's not even fun, which is my own fault. I don't know why I did that.
Lord of the Rings is awesome.
It's okay.
Is it though?
Fuck off.
It's cool, I guess.
I'm trying to think of other romance movies that don't suck. High School Musical. I don't know.
That's a
But I-
musical though.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's just like a
Like
a
La La
romance.
Land.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm talking
La La
about good
Land.
ones, not bad ones.
La La Land's a musical though. It doesn't classify as a rom-com.
But I mean, I'm going more towards romance in general, like because I mean, if we're thinking about it, most of the movies you
Look,
watch weren't rom coms.
in my opinion, I think you already said to me arguably the two greatest rom coms ever, which is The Apartment and Some Like It Hot.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that number 3, or at least right there, right in that class, is When Harry Met Sally.
I want to see that so bad. I've never seen
It's
that.
so good.
Dude, that movie is that's one of the greatest scripts ever.
I know it's got Mike
Yeah.
Wazowski, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Billy Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I know-
crazy.
I
You
know
said
who
Mike
this is.
Wazowski.
I
That's
know
fucking
who
crazy.
it is. I know.
Craziest
who it is.
thing I've ever heard.
Just kidding. I want to see it though.
No,
I might watch that one
It's.
soon.
I think you'd really love it. Watch it with Emily. I think you both would love it.
All right, I'll put on my watch
It's
list
great.
right now.
It's a great movie. I love When Harry Met Sally. Honestly, I think you're right. I think that is up there
Well,
with like best rom com.
I just read a list of the best 50 rom-coms, and that was number 1.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Like,
makes sense.
I don't think that's a bad choice either. Like for me, it would be number 1, The Apartment, and then maybe When Harry Met Sally number 2, and maybe like Some Like It Hot. Like to me, that would be like the 3 best. But I don't
Yeah.
think it's far off to be like, yeah, that's the greatest rom com ever. It's so good.
That. Okay, 1989.
Yeah, yeah. That was amongst his run of like greatest director run ever outside of Spielberg. You know what I mean?
Let's see.
Yeah, except they were good movies we're talking about.
A Few Good Men.
Shut
Oh, I love A Few
I'm
Good
sounding
Men.
like Bryce.
Wait,
he did A Few Good Men. He did Stand By Me. He did Misery. He did This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh, Rob Reiner. Yeah, he's great. Misery.
I just said that.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
If
Go on.
I'm sorry. If we're saying romance, I'm more of a dark drama type guy. I know Lawrence mentioned it, but I gotta say Cold War. Cold War is one of my favorite romance films.
Yeah, see, like I'm not. I feel like this podcast doesn't have to be about rom com. I just like movies with romance, like like
Yeah.
like La La Land, like I mean Call Me by Your Name is it's questionable. it's questionable romance in that movie because of the age gap, but it is a good movie. Portrait of Lady on Fire.
Well, that's a good one.
That's a really good one, actually.
That's a
good
I
one.
fuck. I think it's one of the best
Oh.
recent romances.
I forgot about that one, and you're totally right. It's really great.
That's a great romance.
Guys, Phantom Thread.
Oh yeah, I like Phantom
Good
Thread.
one.
Phantom
Good
Thread.
one.
Fucking love Phantom Thread.
I like Phantom Thread a lot. That one, like I again, like I don't think romance has to be like two people in love. I think it can also be about just relationships and how they fucking suck
Okay,
No,
sometimes.
that movie's
Alright.
funny though.
It is funny, yeah. I like that
I'll tell
movie.
you what, though. Does this one count? What about The Handmaiden?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll count that.
that's a that's
romance.
about a romance.
But I think, first of all, I think that movie's just amazing in general. But I mean, there is some romance in there. So
That's okay. It's like a 4. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a 5. That's a 5. That's a good movie. It's a great movie. What's it called? What's another?
Oh, what about
romance?
Her? Her is a fucking
yeah.
all-timer.
Oh my god! Again, another concept that's crazy.
That's one of the few movies that can actually make me cry. Is Her? One of the
Really?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I love Her.
It's been a while
Yeah.
since I've seen it, but I remember I liked it.
That's a great movie. That's what I've never
Scarjo.
seen Joaquin Phoenix so soft. And I think
So
that's what
soft.
he's good at. Yeah, he's good. Wow, David, I thought you were gonna take that one.
You know what? That was a layup. I was like, you know what?
All right. No, what's it? I mean, what about like those like super cheesy romances? Like, I think like The Notebook. How do you guys feel about The Notebook?
Well, it's a good movie. It's just that it's kind of overplayed.
Oh.
Like now, people are like, "Oh, have you ever seen The Notebook?" When they talk about romance movies, and I'm like, "Yes."
I got
So-
one.
We fuck it.
A cheesy
What is
one
it?
that I love. It's called A Walk to Remember. It's actually
Oh,
The movie is so
it's
cheesy.
so good though. I love it. I don't care. Emily showed it to me. I'm like, you know what? This is great. This is really
Answer
great.
the movie.
That's,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Oh, boo! Yeah, no, I've never fully seen that one, but I know I know she dies at the end. Sorry, oh spoilers.
It's okay. This
Spoiler
whole fucking
alert,
podcast is a
everybody.
spoiler. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't care. It's fucking. It's your
American
fault. Go
Beauty?
watch. Remember.
No, I'm fucking with
What
you,
did
not
you say?
American Beauty.
Oh, you're terrible.
Oh, if we're going dark road, how about Old Boy?
Oh
You know
no!
what sucks?
Stop it.
I've never seen Old Boy, but the internet spoiled it for me, so I know what happens.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen Insandi?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
That's a rough
dude.
one. That's a rough one.
Oh, dude, no.
1 + 1. What is it? 1 + 1 = 1? Is that what they
1
say?
+ 1 can equal 1, right? Oh, that's one of the. This is not romance. I was joking about Old Boy. I fucked that up. Sorry, I derailed that one. No, but what's it called?
Hey, Brodey, what about Possum?
Oh, Jesus. You know what? I would say, because he does have a weird relationship with that puppet. So, yeah. That's romance. Possum.
Is there romance in like other like genres of movies? Like obviously there's like romantic dramas. Like what about is there like romance in like animated movies? Like Shrek. Shrek. That's a
yeah.
good romance.
Good. Wow, that's a good call. You look at you finally saying something smart. That's a good one.
Shrek is great.
Fuck off. Yeah, like that. There's other. There's so many ways to make a
animated
romance.
romance. How about Tangled? Tangled's got a banger fucking.
Haven't seen that.
Yeah.
one.
You haven't seen Tangled?
No.
I've seen that like 50
Tangled-
times because I had a
Tangled
cousin
is
who loved
hilarious,
watching it.
dude.
It is
a really
funny.
good movie. Yeah.
That's one of the funnier Disney movies, I would say.
What about
That's not like a total piece of shit.
Toy Story 4?
No, good movies.
Okay.
Yeah, I also agree with that. Good movies.
I like Toy Story 4. I think it's
Well,
unnecessary.
I did
Toy
too.
Story is funny. It's just not as good as the first three. Or, by the way, I mean, I guess not to get sidetracked, but I'm so upset that they're making a Toy Story 5.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
is
bad.
even more unnecessary, actually.
I mean, like Toy Story 4 was already super unnecessary. Toy Story 5 is like a big slap in the face.
It's like,
Yeah.
what? And there's jokes on Twitter like they're exploring new options. People are like, sex toys.
Oh yeah,
God.
Could
God,
you
no.
imagine? That'd be
Right.
insane.
No, no, I can't imagine that.
Toy dildo or something in Toy Story 5? That'd be awesome.
That'd be so fucking funny. They wouldn't do that. It's fucking Disney.
Like, what about? Is there like romance in horror movies?
Well,
Does that happen?
I would say we'll go back to horror, but there's romance in film noir. The romance between
Oh,
the
yeah.
protagonist
There's a
and
lot
the
of romance.
femme fatale.
Double Indemnity.
Yes, Out of the Past.
What about David's favorite Drive?
Oh, fuck that fucking movie.
Yeah, there is a romance in that. So yeah, I would count
That's
that.
fucking lame ass movie.
It's crazy how like the subgenre like romance could like just bleed into. I mean, it bleeds into everything. It's life. It's literally life.
What's
like
it not in? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Is The Shining a romance?
Oh, that's probably the opposite.
Yeah, well him and the girl in the tub.
Oh God.
But
But Kubrick is so unemotional. He's so cold.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
that's
You know what
right.
romance
You
is
see,
not in? Christopher Nolan films. Since he kills off
Yeah,
all
that's why
the
they're
wives.
good. We don't. Yeah, we take all the wives out of it that ruin all the plot.
I mean, actually, Memento. Not a romance, but I mean, it is about a wife. Wait, Brodey, have you seen Memento?
It's been years.
Oh, I love
A
it.
long
That
time.
movie's fucking awesome.
I want to rewatch Nolan's films before Oppenheimer because that looks so fucking cool.
Dude,
It
that
does.
cast is insanity.
It looks
That
oh my
cast
God, it looks so
is
cool.
crazy.
I love
The cast
Cillian
is the
Murphy.
last thing I care about, honestly. I think it looks really sick.
That, it's better than his last fucking shit film.
Tenet was cool.
Ugh.
It was alright. It was okay.
Tenet was really cool, and I still don't know what happened.
Yeah, me neither. I don't get it.
I've never seen a
I'm
film where they
still
speak
confused.
English, and I'm like, what are they saying?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit, and that was one of the that was the first movie I saw deep into like the dirty part of the pandemic. Like
You saw it in
well,
theaters?
I saw it in theaters. Yeah.
Nice.
I was gonna say that was the only movie that I remember them releasing and people going to see in theaters.
One of the 4 people who saw that in theaters.
Well, it sucks because Christopher Nolan is one of those dudes who's like his name will just attract audiences.
Yeah.
And they said that was his first box office bomb, and it literally has nothing to do with the movie itself. It was about the pandemic.
Debatable.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and even for it being a bomb, it made a lot of money. Maybe like 300 mil.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but when you have a budget of 200, it doesn't seem like a lot.
I mean, but that just shows how even during the dirty pandemic times when it was 2020, that nice first virus we got, like people still went to go see it. I was one of them, unfortunately. Saw it in IMAX
you were
too.
one of those people? Wow.
Yeah, I went in and I was like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask either. Don't even ask me.
Excuse me.
I'm just kidding. You can joke about it now. No one cares.
Yeah, people pretend like there wasn't a pandemic, by the way.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, I don't know.
It's still kind of a touchy subject, though, because if you say one thing, it could easily put you in the one or two camps. So it's like,
Yeah, like how if you got the vax, you're a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, I got it.
I wear a mask at my job because that's just I choose to, and people were like, "Why are you wearing that?" It's like it's my own choice. Do you want to, keep talking?
Oh yeah, I
about
know. From both sides, people get weird about it. I still wear one at mine because they forced me to. But even when they weren't forcing it, I was like, I don't trust you people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you guys are. Amazon's pretty dirty. Amazon's a pretty dirty place, but and there's definitely a lot of romance at Amazon's. People banging in the parking lot.
Nice.
Well, we know you're not one of them. Let's be honest.
By choice.
It's okay. Just go back in time and fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back in time and fix it. Yeah, no. I there's so many romance movies. It's just so hard to talk about like
Silence of the
them
Lambs.
as like a whole.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs?
No, he's got a point there. I mean, not
Yeah,
a
man,
full-on
Emmett
romance.
Does he?
Don't you think they kind of had like this little thing going on, like at the end with their last meeting? He gently touches her hand when he grabs the file.
Yeah, he does. He touches her finger.
Goodbye, Clarice. I love that movie so much.
There's no way. I don't know. I don't see it that way.
I love that movie. It's so.
It's a great movie. It's a great
so
movie.
good.
Is there any movies you guys are excited for this year?
Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer.
That's one.
There's a bunch, dude.
else
I
is
saw
there?
a list of all the movies coming out this year, and there's so many good ones.
I hope. Right now, there's like not that many good movies out. Oh, you know what? Oh, wait. You know what? Before we even get on the subject, I just saw a romance movie technically for the first time ever. In such a bad circumstance, I went to go see Titanic in theaters.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you see something so awful?
First of all, I loved it. I love that movie. The movie's fantastic. But when I went to go see it, because they were playing it in 3D and they transferred into like 4K. Like it's supposed to look amazing, and it did. But an hour and 30 minutes into the movie, the fucking projector just took a shit and just died.
Oh, that's right. You
Oh, yeah.
told me that.
It fucking
awesome.
died, and they couldn't bring it back. So I had to fucking go home and rent Titanic and finish it in 1080p, and I was so fucking mad.
Did you give your money back?
Well, I have A-list, so I already used a free ticket, so they just gave me like a waiver.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I might as well take that. I don't need free tickets. I already pay for that fucking privilege, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, like, I mean that
happened to you more than once, right?
the screen shut off when I went to go see Triangle of Sadness, but they brought it back. But for some reason, this one they couldn't bring it back, and they were like, "We're sorry." And look, usually, like, I don't know what it was, but it like upset me so much. Usually, like something like that, it's like, all right, well, whatever. But I think because it was my first time watching Titanic in full, and I was so invested into the movie, it just like it felt like something was taken away from me, and it broke my fucking heart. Like it
Oh
sucked.
wait, you had
It does
never
suck.
seen it before?
I've seen the ending, like the iconic fucking ending, but I've never seen the whole thing as one. And I loved it. I loved the movie. I wish I could have seen. And then I went to go try and see it again at a different theater, and the screen kept flickering. So
Again.
no, it just kept flickering. So I just left. Like
Man,
I just I was,
you got some
Yeah.
shitty ass prints of that movie. Then
yeah, it fucking pissed me off. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna sit through this. I just fucking walked out. I bought food and everything. Like I bought like fucking like mozzarella sticks. And I was like, fuck this. I'm leaving. I was so upset. It was upsetting.
It was a shitty movie that you.
Wait. Do you guys not like Titanic?
Nah,
I-
not really.
No, not really.
You guys are fucking assholes. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it.
Look, me similar to Brodey. I am not a James Cameron guy. I like his first two Terminator movies, and I like Aliens, and then all his other movies suck to me. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm late to the James Cameron train. I don't think he the James Cameron train. Hold on, sorry. No, but
Damn, you're
I-
trying to run a train on James Cameron? Wow.
yeah, he's trying to run a train on us with the Avatar movies, basically having fucking 5 of them. But
And they're all gonna
No,
make $1 billion too.
I was shocked that Avatar 2 made that much fucking money. I
Well,
was
here's the thing. One of the reasons why it did is that nobody decided to release a movie against it. I need another big fucking studio to release one to steal some of that money back, because I can't stand those fucking movies. They fucking suck and they're boring as shit. And they're too fucking long too, by the way.
I liked it.
I didn't even see it.
I enjoyed it, and I'm glad it made money. You know, I'd rather have that make money than fucking Ant-Man Quantumania.
I would rather rewatch Quantumania, which sucked.
Can we agree that the titles that they're giving to these Marvel movies fucking suck? Like
Yeah.
they fucking suck. Quantumania, that's so boring. Like
It's definitely a
I
first
don't
draft idea. Like Quantumania, cool. Stick with it.
I love a movie with a good title. Like I mean, we have I mean the one of the movies we recommended has it. I love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like that feels like a movie, a title that they actually like put some thought into. And when a movie like fucking Ant-Man Quantumania, like it's so boring.
Actually, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
And then like let's honestly even like Endgame. I don't like that fucking title. that I don't even like that one.
Yeah.
Like just I think the only one that was like fine was like Infinity War. Like that one makes sense. But like Endgame.
I
that
stopped watching
fucking-
Marvel movies like a long time ago, so I don't even.
The last one I saw, the last one actually I was pretty recent. I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'll watch any of the Black Panther movies and Spider-Man just because I like the characters. But besides that, I mean I'm not gonna go see Ant-Man. I'm on the fence of Guardians of the Galaxy because I like the first two. But besides that, no.
Well, for whatever reason today, while I was scrolling through Twitter, the first Captain America movie has been trending. The final scene. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I saw that's trending.
Yeah, it's been trending everywhere because they were showing how good like the first few Marvel movies are, and it's true.
How they used to like movies.
Have they actually
They
tried?
used to look like movies, and they had like real, like there was cool shit in them, and it wasn't, hey, you need to watch these other 12 movies to get this one. It's like, hey, this is the first Cat movie. You don't have to watch all this other shit. You could just watch this on its own merit, and it's still good. And like, yeah, that's the point. Like, dude, that. Like, I mean, I think you guys know that I'm a big fan of that franchise, but man, like,
Yeah.
these movies are starting to get really bad. It sucks. Like, fucking the last Thor movie was awful.
It just
It might have
looked
been
bad.
worse than Ant-Man, by the way. Like, it was awful.
I kind of want to hate watch it because I saw some clips and like that looks terrible. I know it's got a bunch of goat jokes, right?
Yes, you know what? You could actually hate watch it, and it would, yeah, it's awful. It's terrible.
It pisses me off, like the standard that the fans have for these movies are so low. Like at least like the crazy fans they have for these movies are so low. Because I had a tweet that went kind of viral recently, where I posted the Ant-Man clip, and
Yeah, I saw.
people.
Congrats.
Yeah, no, I had to delete it because they were gonna like lock my account.
Oh shit.
But yeah, so I posted that, and a lot of people were agreeing, and then there was this one that stuck out to me that was like, it's not like Endgame. You don't have to take it so serious. And I was like, really? Endgame's the one that you had to take serious? The one where it's like, that's America's ass, and Thor's fat, and Thor's playing Fortnite, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the serious one. Like the fucking the bar is low. The bar is so fucking low, and the fact that they can fuck up with like Ant-Man is just it shows. Honestly, there was a point in time where I was like, I'm gonna watch every Marvel movie one day, and that the moment that stopped was when they started saying, oh, you have to watch the shows now to understand everything. It's like, no, well, there it goes. I'm not watching any of these fucking movies now. Like, fuck that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So much time fucking wasted. I'd rather watch, movies that aren't this, And then, like, the DC crowd gets loud, and they're like, oh, but that's why DC's better. It's like, yours is just as confusing. Shut up. I would say even more confusing. Fuck.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. I'm telling you.
They're going down the tubes.
Like, ever since Endgame, that they kind of just gave up. Like, I liked No Way Home. I dug it. I don't think it's necessarily, like, a great movie, though. You know what I mean?
It rides on the wave of nostalgia. That's basically what it is.
That's really it. Yeah.
That's really it. I mean, I enjoyed it too, but I mean, I was like, this is still at its core what I don't like about Marvel movies. Like, it's like everything I don't like about it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I know Brodey loves talking about them, though, so.
I don't watch them, so I really don't have much to say about them. They're not really my thing. I'm just a Batman guy.
They aren't.
That's it. No DC.
Batman's cool.
I'm not a Snyder guy, not a DC guy. I'm just Batman. Just give me Batman stuff.
Did it hurt when you saw the Matt Reeves one and it was awful?
Dude, that was one of my favorite movie theater experiences ever. That was such a fun fucking time. I've watched that so many times now.
Awesome, dude. That movie's so
great fucking movie. Oh my god.
It's too long, though. I will say it could have been like 30 minutes short. I don't understand why they made it such a long.
It is too long.
My only problem is I do not like the Joker. Their take on the Joker is just not.
That was stupid.
His voice sounds such like a little bitch. I like the actor.
What's his name?
Barry Keoghan.
Barry Keoghan.
Whatever his name is.
Is it Keoghan?
Actor. But
it's Keoghan.
He sounds like this when he's the Joker. I'm like, you sound so unintimidating, bro. Like that extended scene they showed us, he sounded terrible.
All right. Well, you're a Batman fan then, right? So I can tell you this. Look, I've been telling people for years that after this most recent Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, I thought Matt Reeves would do the smart thing, and I wish somebody would just fucking do this already. That they just wouldn't use the Joker in their Batman movie.
Yes, please.
It's like, hey, Batman has maybe the best rogues gallery of any superhero.
He does.
Go and use one of his other fucking 40 villains.
I know.
Guess what? We've seen the best version of the Joker with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
It's never gonna top that.
Never.
And Joaquin Phoenix was really great at it too. It's like, we're not gonna top those. Like, just do somebody else.
It's over. It's time to hang up the fucking Joker. Like, it's done.
Too much. That scene in the Batman where he's like, everyone needs a friend. It's like, oh, please stop. Stop.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Sucked.
That's the worst scene in the movie.
It's the worst, yeah. It's pretty awful. What about Joker 2? There's that picture of him and Lady Gaga.
I can't wait to see it. I don't care. I want to see it.
I'm curious. I'm definitely curious. I hope, it's like I am kind of excited for it, but at the end of the day, it's also Todd Phillips, and Todd Phillips not great.
Todd Phillips great with comedies.
Like Road Trip.
Yeah, like Road Trip.
I fucking love Road Trip. Road Trip's the shit. Now that's a romance movie. Goes all the way across the country just to take his sex tape that he cheated on his girlfriend with.
I mean, Euro Trip is also a romance movie, though. Come on now. Have you
Now
seen Euro
that's a romance movie for the
That's a
ages.
real romance movie. Yeah.
Going all over Europe just to find the love of your life. Now that's a good movie. And then having sex with her in like what are they in like the Vatican or like that?
Vatican, yeah. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty
doesn't know. Oh, have you seen that, Brodey? Euro Trip?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
It has one of the best cameos of all time because it's just so out of fucking nowhere.
yeah.
I'll check it out.
So I feel like you probably would appreciate that kind of comedy because I feel like we all probably grew up with those kind of comedies, and like like now people would fucking hate that movie. Like they would be like, it's offensive, like, and it's. I mean, you know, I get it. It's not for everybody now because
those are what we call pussies. First of all,
I saw that coming. Yeah, no, and like I get it.
It's probably offensive, but it's like, yeah, it's of its time. It's like whatever.
It is of its time, and I can see why someone wouldn't like it. But it's also I grew up watching it, so I like it a lot.
Have you guys seen the out of context clip of the whale that's going around on Twitter where Sadie Sink says that F word, and people were like, "Why would she say that?" It's like, guys, her character is supposed to be the worst person.
Piece
ever.
of shit.
She's the evil devil. She's supposed to be like that, so of course she's gonna say shit like that.
I was gonna tweet this, and then I deleted it because I just like I knew it was gonna go like wrong, and people pick and choose when to be like literate in terms of media. Like they decide like when they want to be like on like, oh yeah, like the whale's offensive and this and that, and then they'll like argue like people are so like media literate. And it's like you're like what? Like they pick and choose when it's time to really think about the purpose of why they choose, like the intention of a character saying that kind of thing, and they're like, oh, like the whale, what's his name, Brendan Fraser in that movie is like, oh, like that's an interesting perspective, and they're taking it completely out of context of the fact that he's just trying to regain a relationship with his daughter,
who's evil.
Like. Yeah, like who's evil because of all the bullshit she went through. Like they just decide to completely just single all that out, and it's just to that one line. And yeah, the whale is getting an obnoxious amount of hate, and I don't get it.
But guys, don't you see? Brendan Fraser is fatphobic for portraying a fat person.
And then I feel like people were afraid that the movie would be fatphobic. I feel like people are becoming a little fatphobic talking about how much they don't like this movie. Like if you want to point fingers at shit, I feel like the people are becoming a little fatphobic about it.
I don't know.
Like yeah, it's people are annoying. People are like I feel like I'm completely checked out from film Twitter, and I talk to the people that I know, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well,
like you guys are cool, kind of, you know, you pick shit movies like About Time, but you know.
Do you guys have any final thoughts? I hate to cut this short, but I actually need to go here.
Cool. It's cool. Final thoughts. Film Twitter sucks still. I'm excited for all the movies that are coming out this year. And, yeah, romance. We need to make more movies like Love Story. Love Story was fun. I loved it a lot. Thank you for that. I'm glad I watched that movie.
Glad you enjoyed
Lawrence, you forgot to thank me for About Time.
I think that's all the time we have for today on this podcast. It's about time we get the fuck out of here and not talk about this goddamn movie.
Any final thoughts, David?
No, not really. I guess we won't make any promises because sometimes it's a little tough to schedule some of these pods, but hopefully we can do one about the Oscars and some of the Oscar noms.
Yes,
I think we should.
We definitely like when it's you know, like right after we should probably get on that. Like right when they, I mean not right away, but we should definitely get on that.
I agree. And with you guys, this was fun. Let's do this again soon. And to our listeners, oh wait, there are no listeners because this is the film podcast that nobody listens to. Bye-bye.
Bye.